All right, we're gonna allow everybody to be able to speak, and then we're gonna go live like this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode, a special episode, a makeup episode of 6 and 20 Metropolis. This is the Tuesday crew on Friday at 2 p.m. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but we are now live, and I gotta tweet out that in just a second. But here we are, and we're here to get going today. Why don't we go around the table and do some introductions while I send out that tweet? Why don't we start with Valanda?
Hi, I'm Valanda. I'm playing Sethana Burke. She is the personal assistant to the CEO of MCX Medical. And she is currently partially drunk, partially high on the fact that she's learned more about her mythos, and she's currently wandering her old neighborhood. She's also in a lot of trouble. I'm going to pass the buck over to Sam.
Hi, I am Sam. I'm playing Charlie. She is a blind person. She doesn't really know what she doesn't know much about her mythos. Her dad is running for mayor, and
He is?
no one's running for mayor. I'm just an average 18-year-old girl, legal.
Sure you are.
Is that important that you're...
I'm legal.
I don't want to know. You know what? I don't want to know.
And yeah. Alex.
Well, my name is Zabi. I'm going to be playing Henry, a medical student who can bend the forces of nature to his whim with vines and healing magic. He also struggles with control over his dark passenger, for taking a page from Dexter. But yeah.
Wow, I think we did really well in covering up the time was. I mean, I even went beyond high. I'm playing Sethana. I think you guys need to be proud of that.
I think you guys did amazing. You know what I'm not amazed about? The fact that I can't post that we're live to Twitter. Can somebody else post that we're live to Twitter? Because apparently I can't post. Whatever reason, I'm getting permission denied. Nobody loves me. Damn. No, but you guys did amazing. I think each introduction was great. I'm a little concerned about the Dexter reference, given what happened on Wednesday on Team Lazarus, where Gephardt started to go a little dark. Does that mean we're going to see Dark Henry soon too, a la Dexter? Are we going to have to deal with multiple serial killers on multiple shows?
We probably won't, but depends on what happens. It depends on all what happens.
Can I just kill off Charlie and play a serial killer?
Can I just be a leprechaun? Is that something I could do?
No, you can't be a leprechaun. No.
No, you can't be.
All right, guys. So before
Google.
we get...
Next character I'm playing is Google.
No, you mean
mythos is
Sage.
Google.
In this world, it's Sage. And
I'm sorry.
Remember, you ask for your... What is it? You ask... I don't remember what the tagline was. Somebody came up with a great tagline for Sage, the search engine. Anyways, so let's do a couple of quick announcements before we get started. First and foremost, 6 and 20 is a tabletop show across 3 different channels. You'll find some information in chat right now, which is not working. Why isn't it working? I just set this all up. Oh well. Anyways, so you'll find some information in chat right now about 6 and 20. Across 3 channels. This channel, VideoStoreCowboy, usually on Tuesdays, but here on Friday. NotSoSpeedRuns on Thursdays, and UnMadeGaming on Wednesday. And clearly the bot is dead. Long live the bot. What's going on here? The bot disconnected. Guys, I gotta tell you, hashtag pro streamer today. This is just really working out for me. Yeah, there we go. That works. Did that work? Okay, great. So let's try this one more time. Did that work? Yes, it went through. Great. Anyways, so this is across 3 different channels. We do either 3 different shows. There are 3 different crews. Where this is a makeup episode. We are also doing a giveaway for the core book for 6 and 20, or for 6 and 20 for City of Mist, with Okay, that's not working now too. What's going on? Giveaway. All right, none of my commands are working, guys. I'll fix it. I'll fix it in post, or I'll fix it after we get started. Anyways, so we're doing a giveaway. I will post a link in chat at some point. You can go ahead and check that out. Basically, we're doing a giveaway for another 5 days, and we'll be announcing, I believe, on Thursday on NotSoSpeedRuns next week. For who can actually who's actually going to win, and you can enter every day. But if you don't win that, we're also doing a deal with Son of Oak, where you can get $5 off the core book if you use 6 and 20 fan. You go to cityofmist.co.uk or cityofmist.co. You pick up the book and you enter the code 6 and 20 fan, and you can get $5 off the core book. And that's the only Son of Oak is the only place where you can actually get the PDF and the core rule book, the hardback version together. And then last but not least, we have a YouTube show that we've just premiered this last week. It went unannounced until this week. But it's called Beyond the Mist. It's a show hosted by McLoken, kind of talking about different aspects of the world, the game, and then the mechanics of the game. Usually includes a couple of players. The first episode was actually some world building with UnMadeGaming, NotSoSpeedRuns, and Trendane, who were all a part of the world building process in this thing. And then this week, I believe, Alex, you're going to be doing the recording tomorrow with a couple others. Is that correct?
As far as I know, McLoken hasn't kicked me out, so yes.
Great way to put it. Great way to put it. So that should be up on YouTube next Monday. I think is when we're shooting. Is every week on a Monday. So there'll be a new episode of Beyond the Mist. And I can't think of anything else right now. So without further ado, if you guys are ready, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Your commands are working in chat, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah, I see
Mhm.
them.
Really?
Stop putting them because I see them.
I don't, and all right, guys, you see them, I don't, I'm sorry, chat for whatever reason is not working for me. I'm going to refresh chat and get started. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right, so, wow, yeah, they were working. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean to spam everybody with that stuff. I apologize completely. And thanks for the host, Exploding Dice. Really appreciate it. I also want to say a quick thank you to McLoken for subscribing for the second month in a row. Really appreciate it. Love you guys. All right, let's get started. So previously on 6 and 20 Metropolis, there was an escape. It was an escape from a police station. It was an escape from a police station after Henry decided that he needed to get into the evidence room and steal back his shoe. Because they were $400 pairs of shoes, and he dropped one and basically had the other, and so he really needed to go get that. Oh, and any other evidence that was related to the disappearance of Alexis Dere from the library. While that was going on, Charlie and Roz were distracting Catherine Devereaux, lead detective on the Alexis Dere case. But that didn't go quite as planned, and Roz was going to publish an expose of all the information that she had, that she was going to give Roz, but Roz was kind of salty and it just didn't kind of work out. So she then decided that she was going to expose the information and make it public. With a daring escape, Roz and Charlie through the ladies' bathroom on the first floor, Henry working some of his vine magic and then escaping from the roof, make it outside and away with the evidence. Sathana, meanwhile, wasn't having the best of nights or best of days, and so she decided to go to Xanadu. One, to explore her mythos, to find out more about this medallion, this pen, this thing that was gifted to her by Mr. Gallows, and two, to grab a drink because she needed it. When she got there and exploring her mythos, she felt almost a familial kind of situation. They treated her like family. They gave her a sense of belonging, which was unusual for her because she hadn't experienced that since the death of her brother. After having that experience, the group gets back together, and there's a bit of frustration as Sathana basically explains that it was probably a bad idea to break into a police station and grab all the evidence. So she concocts a plan to go with Henry back to the station, talk to Catherine Devereaux, and re-deliver the evidence and explain that he was coerced into it. I don't remember. Who was the person that you guys had talked about being coerced? Having coercion?
The Chow Industries, the ones that had broken into the office, and it was the dude specifically that I had a minor tussle with.
That's correct. Right. And so, in explaining all of that, she convinces Catherine that this actually occurred, that this was a good situation, but Catherine left her on a sour note, acknowledging that there would be some more evidence that would be reviewed. At which point, Sathana called her boss, got the company lawyers involved, and things are looking slightly better after having that conversation. Roz, waiting for a call from the CEO of the Apollo car company, Mr. Apollo, engaged him, but didn't get the information she was expecting. In fact, he was kind of stonewalling her, and she was growing gravely concerned. And so we left her there, getting out of the car, really frustrated and upset over the fact that she could not gain any information from Mr. Apollo. And we had cut last to Sathana doing another downtime montage where she was exploring her mythos again, and she had a vision of a battlefield and a time far beyond and gone, where she saw Tamonte, the bouncer from Xanadu, and another fellow that looked vaguely familiar, who she will eventually come to know is Mr. Gallus. And that's where we sort of fade into this scene as she's coming out of that vision that she had of exploring her mythos. How do you want to react to that, Sathana?
So I'm seeing both of these guys at the end of my old neighborhood, right? They're there on the street.
Yes.
I think I'm just going to go over to them.
You going over to these two individuals who look like Tamonte and Mr. Gallus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had his name, didn't I? Mr. Gallo's first name?
Oscar.
Oscar. Okay.
So as you get closer and closer, the vision really begins to kind of clear for you from your old neighborhood, which I believe we decided was Cross End.
Yes.
As that kind of vision clears, as the sleep kind of dissipates from your eyes, you realize that it's just two homeless guys kind of standing there. One who, taller, kind of looks vaguely like Tamonte, but really isn't him. And then the other one is just another old man with a beard, long hair, wearing an incredibly long coat, but isn't Mr. Gallus. It isn't Oscar. And so as the sleep kind of dissipates, from your eyes completely, you kind of look around and find yourself in Cross End, and you see that it is, again, the devastated area that when you first walked in, the crumbling buildings, the dilapidated, structures, the massive amounts of graffiti, kind of all around.
I think if she's coming out of that kind of like trance-like state that she was in, just trying to figure out and work out who's going where and why she's the person to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think once she realized that it's not Tamonte, it's not Gallows, I think at that point, like realizing where she is and that the fact that she is in some serious trouble, maybe hanging around here wouldn't be a good idea. So I think she'd probably head on home at that point. Probably past a liquor store on the way and grab another bottle of whiskey or something, but yeah.
Okay. And so in leaving that neighborhood, having sort of refreshing your memory about who you are and where you came from as a child, where you and your brother grew up, and then having that vision sort of that conflict sort of happen, you head off to that liquor store, and the alcohol just doesn't taste as satisfying, or it's not as satisfying as it once was. And it just kind of leaves you, there's like this, almost like this hunger pain, or this desire for wanting more. And so we're going to cut to Charlie standing over, over Roz as the Apollo car just kind of vanishes. And you're kind of looking down at her, and she's incredibly frustrated, and you can see it, and she begins to kind of walk off down the street.
Charlie would probably just like follow along quietly.
Okay.
Trying not to upset her more, waiting for her to talk to me.
Okay. And so she walks for a couple of blocks. You're in the downtown district. It's a hustle and bustle of busy. There's lots of traffic going on, but you're able to easily keep up. And she turns a corner. And as you get to the top of the building, as you get to that corner, you can see that she's being grabbed and snatched and being pulled into a van.
Charlie would immediately like run and try to stop whoever's grabbing her.
Okay, so you're basically on top of a building. It's about a 3-story tall building.
Yeah, I would.
And you would jump down to the street level?
Yeah, through fire escapes and drain pipes and whatever else Charlie had available to her resources.
Okay, so I'm gonna need you to take a risk.
Sure, let's roll well. Okay.
Do you really want to roll well, or do you?
Power tags. I know these streets.
You do know these streets.
Senses the finest detail. Perfect short range target. The ground. Outgoing agility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4. But I guess I might be ignoring danger, so 3.
Okay.
Take a risk. 14. I get to that ground very well.
You do get to that ground very well. And I was just trying to get the dice window back up, but it doesn't look like it's going to be ready in time. So let's go back to.
Oh, that looks bad.
Yeah, it does. So I'll fix that later. Okay, so you got a 14. So great success. You get down to the ground. As you land, there are two individuals who have grabbed her and kind of pulled her into the truck, or into the van. As 2 more individuals are just kind of standing outside, kind of keeping an eye. As they see you land, they immediately start to engage.
All right, let's fight them.
Interesting thing about them, they're both wearing the exact same suit, and if it wasn't quite, you're not quite sure, but they actually kind of look almost exactly the same, like facial features.
It's Tweedledee and Tweedledum, I know. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to probably. Does one of them look stupider, or like are they just like the
They
same?
look exactly the same, and you just as you kind of come in, they immediately go, they're ready. They're kind of in a ready position, but they look like they're ready to box.
All right, so I'm gonna try to sweep one's legs,
Okay.
and as he's falling to the ground, I'm gonna use him to bounce off him, or like jump off him and attack the other guy, but like in a jumping kind of motion, and I want to stick my fingers into his eyes.
Okay, so you're gonna sweep the leg of one and then stick your fingers in the eyes of the other.
Yeah, but I'm gonna use him as like a trampoline as he's falling to like jump on the other guy and stick my fingers in his eyes.
Okay, so I think, what kind of a move do you think this is? Do you think this is
toe to toe?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Martial arts. Outgoing agility.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect short range target.
Mm-hmm.
Senses out the finest details, and I think that's it. Again, I'm ignoring danger though, so.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you think that, let's see, I believe it's ignores danger applies here.
Yeah, I just said that.
Did you? Okay, I'm sorry. I was just trying to pull up your character sheet. Okay,
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead and roll.
So rolling with 3. Great success.
All right, so you get to do 2 of those things, right? You
Okay.
can now we had to do. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm reading them. Manage to reach your goal. Block, dodge, counter attempts. Okay, so I'm gonna reach my goal by knocking the one over,
Okay.
and then I'm going to inflict a status of the other guy being blind.
Okay.
Because I want my thumbs deep in those sockets of his eyes.
Okay. So so it's a tier 3 status, blinded.
Yeah.
That we're gonna say that's on that second guy, and that first guy is gonna go down, but he's not gonna have a status on him. Just
No, I don't want a status on him. I just want him down.
right.
I
Okay.
wanted to use him as a trampoline.
Yes.
That was my goal.
Right. Okay. So you sweep the leg. He goes down. You move into the other guy. You kind of you poke him, and he's blinded. All right.
Haha. Dead.
And so as he's doing that, the first one kind of kicks out a little bit, kind of kicks up at you, sort of at you in the back, and you take a bruised status 1 as he kind of.
Well, that's fine. I got recovery meditation later.
Okay, all right, good. I'm glad that you're prepared for this. That's perfectly awesome. All right, so he kind of kicks at you, and you kind of stumble forward a little bit as you see one of the guys in the one of the guys in the van pulling a gun as the other one is trying to bundle up Roz.
Well, that's okay. I'm great with taking guns from people.
I've heard this before.
I'm going to... Well, the guy's still on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm. But he kicks out at you. So.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm going to... Well, I'm technically still on this guy, like spider monkeying him with my fingers in his eyes, and he kicks out at me. So I'm going to jump back down on top of him, like on his stomach.
Okay.
And then I'm going to whip out my cane and slap the guy's gun away.
Okay, is that a hit him with all you got then?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Senses the finest details. Perfect short-range target. I do think another power attack that I've never get to use before applies to this. Martial arts, outgoing agility, and always gets up. Because when I'm hit, no matter what, I always get up.
Absolutely.
So that's 5, but I'm going to take a 4 because ignores danger.
Okay, so make sure that every time you take that, make sure that you mark on your character sheet or on a note that you get attention for that theme book when you take that weakness. When you declare a weakness, you get an attention, and that helps with your advancement.
Okay, so I've used it, 3 times today?
You've used it twice so far.
No, 3 times because I used it on jumping down too. I used it on my first roll. I used it on jumping down.
Okay, all right. Well, then just mark it 3 times, and then we'll go ahead and we'll work with that.
Okay, I'll just remember that for now.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
Okay, so, and I'm going to hit it with all I got.
Okay, go for it.
Great success.
What is up with freaking RNG today? I swear to God.
It's because I'm a baller.
I guess so. All right, so you kind of wait. So you jump back onto the first guy.
Yeah, I jump onto the first guy.
And you slap out with your cane the
Yeah,
guy.
I want to. So I'm knocking the wind out of the first guy, basically. Like, I go for his, solar plex.
Mm-hmm.
And I want, 1 foot on his solar plex and 1 foot with my foot on his face, turning to the side.
Okay, so
And then...
Go ahead.
And then I whip out my seeing eye cane and I whack the guy's hand. And make him drop the gun.
So you jump on the first guy, and you land on his basically solar plexus, just kind of knocking the air out of him. You hear a gasp. You hear, "Ah!" as the guy is just trying to struggle just to take a breath right. And you just, as you're doing this, you just pull your cane out, and it just, comes from the folded state, and as you're swinging, it just kind of folds out completely to its full length as you slap the other guy with it. and the other guy's like, ah, and he drops the gun. All right.
Yes.
So you hit him with all you got. So he takes.
So
He's going to take a status of tier 3. Let's say broken hand or broken knuckles or whatever.
Yeah.
What else is going on here? So you can choose 2 of those moving forward. Two of those options in the window.
Yeah, if it's your ability move gain advantage on the battlefield, you get 1 juice. You change the game. You said there's 4 guys?
There's 4 guys that you can see. 2 of them are in the van. One of them just got his knuckles broken from your cane slapping the gun out of his hand.
Okay,
the other one,
I blinded one. One's out for me. I'm on top of another one right now, so that's good. I just hit a gun. What's the 4th guy doing?
4th guy is kind of bundling up Roz. She's kind of screaming, for help. Asking you for help.
Well, I'm helping. She needs to calm her stuff.
Right, but so the 4th guy is kind of binding her up so that she's caught.
All right. I wish I was in my vigilante gear. This would be so much easier. I'm just in high heels right now.
I don't want to see what you do with those high heels if you're taking your cane and breaking people's knuckles with your cane.
Well, yeah. I mean, I already knocked a guy out with a shoe before, so.
You did.
Okay, so I am going to secure my superior position so the guy I'm on top of can't hit back.
Okay, great.
And then what does no collateral damage mean?
No collateral damage tends to mean if you want to have a controlled or an isolated situation where
I'm going to make this isolated. That's fuck.
Well, hold on. So it typically involves like a case where there are friendlies real close to you, or there's innocent bystanders.
Well, I'm hoping that's what I don't want anybody to walk by.
Or you could do loads of collateral. Well, so there's a crowd beginning to form sort of around you, but they're keeping their distance. But you could, there could be loads of collateral damage, and it could potentially affect the 4th guy. Like you slap the
Yeah.
You slap the gun out of the 3rd guy's hand, and basically as your cane is kind of coming back, it kind of whacks the 4th guy in the head a little bit.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, and so that kind of comes back and kind of comes back and kind of slaps the guy in the ear, and he takes a temporary status of status 1 stunned or something like that, or shocked. We'll just call him shocked.
All right.
And so you're on the 1st guy. The 2nd guy's kind of screaming on the ground, blinded. The 3rd guy is screaming about his knuckles. The 4th guy just got whacked as he was finishing securing Roz. As you hear the van's engine start, and it starts to speed away, like it's starting to move away from you right now.
I'm gonna run after it.
All right, so to keep up with it, I think it's sort of either going to be a take a risk or a change the game. And here's the thought process for me in suggesting both of those to you. The take a risk is you're going to ignore traffic and anything else that's going on, and you're going to focus. You're going to have tunnel vision to try to run and kind of grab onto the vehicle or jump into the vehicle or do something, right?
Yeah.
The change the game is something actually gets introduced into the environment that allows you, and you'll be able to create like a story tag or something, like a car kind of drives in front of it and stops it for a second, that kind of a thing.
I'm definitely gonna take a risk. Charlie's a risk taker.
Okay.
So. With this, know the streets, outgoing agility, perfect short range target.
Okay.
But I'm gonna ignore. I have 2 power tags here that would work. I'm ignoring the danger of it, but I'm also could potentially get exposed.
You can apply both of those if you want, and that would be attention to both of those.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I definitely think that both of those are huge. Like,
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, mild success.
Okay, so you can succeed, but it's going to be at either a hard bargain or an ugly choice.
Oh, tell me.
Let's go through this. So the first thing that you can do, or the first thing is the hard bargain, right? You can catch on to the van, but as it's speeding away, basically all you can do is kind of grab onto the bumper, and you're going to get dragged behind, and then you're going to have to take a risk to actually pull yourself up enough to be able to get onto the vehicle. Or you can not you cannot jump onto the vehicle. You cannot grab the vehicle itself, but you can see that there's a car that's kind of pulling. The vehicle will start to get away, and there's a car that's going to immediately pull in front of you from an alleyway, and you're going to be able to jump onto that to follow the van.
Yeah, let's ride a car.
Well, Malcolm did surf a hammer the other day. This is going to be pretty close to that.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like, yeah.
Okay.
Looks like the Black Panther car chase sequence where he's like riding on top of a car.
That is a pretty good car chase sequence.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, you do need Vinefellow who can easily stop a car. All right, so the van's you're starting to run. The van continues to increase its distance from you as you're running full out, right? But you don't have the right shoes, and you're just not able to keep
take
up.
Off her shoes.
Right, so you as you're kind of running, you take off your high-heeled shoes or whatever, the high-heeled boots or whatever you're wearing that you just described, and as that happens, there is another car that kind of pulls in front of you and starts to move in that direction very slowly, and you kind of run and jump on top of it, and that you hear from what the hell, what's going on? Coming from the person inside as the vehicle continues to speed forward.
I just stay on top. I wouldn't say anything.
Okay, so the van just the van is continuing to move forward, and it has to break up for a second and just kind of pull. There's a vehicle that just kind of drives out of an alleyway and kind of crosses in front, and then it starts to accelerate again. But the car itself that you're riding right now, how are you riding this car, by the way?
I'm just sitting on top.
Okay.
Sitting, not standing. Sitting.
You're sitting on the car. Okay. The car continues to move forward closer, and you get within about a 10-foot distance, and you think that you could possibly jump it if you really wanted to make an attempt.
Let's do it.
All right. So this is going to be a take a risk.
Yeah, I'm going to apply the same power tags, but with the same both ignoring and exposing.
Okay.
Let's roll well. Mild success.
Okay. Not sure how to quite describe this in a way. So the hard bargain will be, again, you can jump the distance and grab on, but let's see. You can jump the distance and grab on, but your feet are gonna start to drag a little bit.
I got calluses.
Okay, so you're gonna take a little bit of a status there, right? You're gonna take another essentially.
What's my ugly choice?
Hold on. So you would take a status for that, or your ugly choice is you're not able to make it, but you kind of roll and jump onto another vehicle that is now moving in that same direction.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Okay. So you jump, the van kind of pulls forward again, and you kind of tumble and roll through it and continue running as another vehicle kind of pulls onto the street, and you're able to kind of jump on and kind of pull yourself up onto. Now that van is starting to get farther and farther away as it's now got a clear, a path. Is there anything that you want to do to try to catch it up, or kind of just impede its way in some fashion?
So the car I'm on, is the passenger side window open?
It is.
I'm gonna slip right in there
Okay.
and stop the car and kick the person out. And I'm gonna drive the car.
Did you just carjack someone?
I'm a good person, I swear.
Did you just GTA a ride? That's so. I'm so happy right now.
That is so bold that I'm not going to have you do anything for jumping into the car. So you basically slide in, you look over the person, you say, "Get out."
No. I take my foot and I slam it on the brake. Like I reach it over the little console, slam it on the brake. I open their door, I push them out, and I slide over.
All right, Charlie, I'm going to need you to take a risk here.
Or is this a changing the game? Because...
Well, so the fact that you did that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing in my head is that you're blind.
Yeah, but I can see.
You can see through the vibrations and
okay.
everything else. So if you want to change the game, explain to me what you're gonna do.
I don't know. I was just thinking that would be a thing too. I can try. Don't worry.
I'm concerned.
No, I can try. It's fine.
I'm concerned too.
Okay,
I'm like,
ready?
I guess you could sense the vibrations of the car.
Yeah, I can sense everything. It's cool. It's like Daredevil. Okay, so I think Daredevil once drove a car, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
See? I can drive a car.
Okay.
So my power tags are going to be senses the finest detail, perfect short range target, filters out noise so I can, just hear the vibrations of where everything is, but I'm not listening to like all the other crap on the street.
You might want to. You're driving a car. It's
No,
basically an armored thing. You want to know where everything else is.
Yeah, but I'm listening into the important things. That's okay.
What about the
Okay.
thing right next to the cars? The people. Don't run them over.
Okay, maybe I won't filter out noise. So senses the finest detail, perfect short range target. I know these streets and my outgoing agility that is gonna maneuver this car. I don't think exposure applies anymore because I'm in a car now.
So exposed.
I am absolutely exposed.
Okay, so she's worried.
I'm in a vehicle.
She's in a vehicle and she just carjacked the vehicle. Exposed, and correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie. Exposed tends to relate to the opportunity that somebody would recognize you.
Yeah,
because you are essentially a person, like a celebrity or something.
It's not necessarily that like I'm creating a drama-filled situation. It's just that like someone recognizes me. So like, and then I think I'm still ignoring danger here.
Okay.
Really?
So
Yeah, she's no, not at all.
3, 4 minus 1 is 3. All right, take a risk.
Oh my God! Jesus Christ!
I'm very good at driving, guys. But I'm probably gonna hit someone.
All right, so this is where the car chase sequence, or the pursuit of this car goes into high gear, because Charlie just kind of kicks that person out. They're kind of looking at it. She closes the door and floors it and takes off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a great driver.
They pass 7-Eleven where Henry's coming out with like a burrito and like a big gulp, and he's like about to take a bite, and he notices one speeding car, and he's like, "Oh, that's weird." And then he notices another one, but he catches. It's like that slow moment, like
I like
clip
look over
shutter,
at you.
and then like we both eyes meet, and it's like, there's a blind girl driving that Chevy Suburban.
If anything would turn Stefano off of drinking, it'll be like, have I had too much? Am I really seeing this?
He's going for that first burrito bite, and then he's just like, fuck.
All right, so
Oh my God.
I got to ask this question because I didn't ask it before. Because Henry just suggested a car. What actually type of car did you steal, Safan? I mean, Charlie. What did you grab? What kind of a vehicle?
What did Henry just say?
A Chevy Suburban?
Yeah, it's a Chevy Suburban.
Oh my god, it's a mommy mobile. Oh god.
No.
Beep beep motherfuckers.
Wow. This shit just got crazy.
No, if I had failed, I would have absolutely loved a kid in like the backseat.
So, what's interesting about that is that this is still a mild success. There's a hard bargain or ugly choice.
Yeah. Tell
Just
me.
get in the backseat.
Vehicles going forward, and that's when you hear from the back, "Hey, who are you?"
That's so good.
And that's when you begin to fully
said
attune to the car
You said
environment,
hard
and there is a
bargain or ugly choice, and I get to pick one.
I don't know. You just offered up a pretty good hard bargain.
It's a little boy or it's a little girl. That's your choice.
It's a little girl, kind of playing with her doll, and it's like, "Who are you? Where's mommy?"
I would hand her a juice cup in the back. I'd be like, drink up.
You turn on the DVD of SpongeBob. Shut up and watch it.
Oh my god, this is not where I expected this session to go.
I've never kidnapped anyone in my life.
You swear you're a good person?
I swear I'm a good person. I'll return the child.
Okay, so the vehicle continues moving forward. What do you do? You're in pursuit. You're gonna be able to catch him up to him, but you see the kid.
I keep going.
Okay.
You know, I was trained at a very young age. I'm just looking for my next pupil. Like,
You're gonna groom this poor little girl. Oh man.
Oh wow.
Okay, so moving and swerving, kind of following the vehicle along, right? You're able to keep pace with it. It's about 100 feet in front of you as it's kind of swerving through traffic as well, and you're swerving through traffic, right? And you're just kind of you're able to kind of anticipate using your sense of vibration, just get the immediate around you. You can also hear where the vehicles are. You kind of get you're the echolocation sense of the whole thing as this kind of this brilliant map of what's going on around you kind of like plays in your mind. And so the vehicles are just kind of weaving back and forth in traffic, and then it turns a corner, and as you turn a corner, it's just an open area, like there's an open road, and they're gunning it. So you're going to need to do something to kind of change this circumstance, or you're going to need to do something incredibly risky to be able to catch up to this particular vehicle.
There's a kid in the back. I can't be incredibly risky. I want the child to die.
Take the kid in the car seat and toss him off on the causeway.
Wow.
No, I was gonna return it home later.
No. Just put the kid in the car seat, like on the side of the road, and then just give him a juice box and a Game Boy. They're fine.
Charlie's not that mean. Okay.
So what does Charlie want to do? The vehicle's pulling away.
Do I see like a daycare center anywhere near?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Take the child and throw it through the daycare window.
No, I'm not that mean.
You do see a police car kind of like coming the other direction, realizing that that van is going way too fast, and is starting to make a U-turn.
I'm gonna follow the police car very slowly.
Okay, so the police car is now in hot pursuit of it, but the van is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, so the van is starting to kind of weave and swerve through what little cars are there, and it's preventing the police car from actually kind of following it. But you're able to kind of keep pace with the police car, and so you still have it in sight. But the vehicle is now the van is now like 200 feet away from you, and it's starting to pull even farther and farther away.
Is the police car like on its tail?
It's keeping pace and trying to catch up, but it's having trouble for whatever reason. This van is doing an incredible job kind of accelerating and pulling away.
Guys, like, what if we take the Chevy Suburban and the police cruiser, and we put the Chevy Suburban right behind the police cruiser, and they combine horsepower?
Yeah.
That'll obviously get it there.
Charlie.
Just ram the back of it.
I feel like I got myself in over my head right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with being in over your head. You just got to figure an excellent way out of it.
Is there some side street? I'm gonna start taking side streets to try to catch up.
Okay, it's on a big boulevard, kind of heading off in a direction. If you pull off a side street, you're gonna lose. Your senses would lose sight of it. So you would realize that you might be able to move and kind of outmaneuver them, but you're not going to be completely sure that you're going to be able to find them again.
You could text one of us and see if we're around the area.
Yeah,
I mean, someone is getting a burrito right now.
I'm gonna voice call both of you at the same. It's like gonna be a group call. Voice
What, you're gonna like drop a Zoom call from the car?
Well, no. Well, like I'm just gonna call you. I'm gonna plug you into the little stereo. Put you in the little thing, so I can hear you. All of you.
Okay, so a voice call goes through. Who picks up first?
Henry would, and all she would hear is,
Hello?
Hey!
"Hey,
Hey guys. And you just hear SpongeBob in the background.
You hear SpongeBob in the background. You hear cars kind of careening back and forth, and you hear horns. You hear a siren.
Hey guys.
Charlie, are you watching a Saturday morning cartoon on a causeway?"
Oh my god, this sounds like the greatest party ever.
So
And
I'm in.
Savannah is
if
inebriated.
you guys could get to, and then I say the address, so kind of where I'm near. I'm currently in a car chase.
Sorry, what?
I'm driving a car currently.
I'm sorry, I have deaf ears, like drunk ears on right now. What the? You're in a car?
I'm driving a car.
You're.
Charlie, I don't think I can recommend that you do that. You can't see.
Oh, I'm fine. So if you guys can get here, I'm currently chasing a van. They have taken Roz.
Oh shit.
But there's kind of a little hiccup. The car I took has a child in the back.
Oh no. Okay.
Perhaps you could just
I don't know what to do with the kid. We're bonding.
No, you can't bond with a child. Where's the parents?
I kicked them out of the car.
Oh my god. Okay, hang on. Let me get this straight. You're in a car with a small child. You're chasing a van with Roz in it, and it's being chased by the police.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel maybe you should stop the car and return the child.
I can return the child after we get Roz back.
Maybe you could. I don't exactly know how.
Is there a fire station nearby? Do I see a fire station on this boulevard?
Are you gonna just like
Absolutely.
drive by, drop the kid?
Yeah.
Absolutely, there you can
I
totally.
drive up and drop the kid off at a fire station.
Maybe it's a good idea you get a description of. I mean, I don't exactly know how you're not blind. I don't know what the hell is wrong. I don't know what you are, Charlie. Maybe you should just get the number plate
I can't
and then
see the plate.
let the cops do their
No,
job
I can't-
a
I
little
can't.
bit.
I can't see the plate. I know it's a van though.
Oh, okay.
But I'm dropping the kid off at daycare right now. Just hear the blinker turn on.
I have an idea. Why don't you call like Pie in the Sky or whatever it's called, or whoever the hell they are, the ones that like do the high-speed chases, and maybe we can get it on TV, and then we can get the number plate and follow.
Or I can. Why don't you?
I don't notice.
At
Why
this
don't you
point,
hang out
Henry
with me? It was always-
takes the phone and hangs it up, and then he looks to see if he's in the area, and he starts listening for sirens, just blaring sirens.
Way off in the distance, you can hear sirens that are at least, a couple of blocks away. And then these are big downtown city blocks. It's behind some buildings at this point. So
he starts doing his Vine thing. He starts thwipping onto street lights and just starts like throwing himself into the air and trying to like grab onto building wall sides of buildings and whatnot. And he starts going towards the sirens until he can either see if he's ahead or behind or to the side of the chase. And then we'll see how that does.
Okay, so you start to make your way up there. Sathana, what are you gonna do?
I don't know if you noticed, Charlie. I'm a little bit too I'm having a not good time. Okay. Sure, I'll see what I can do. I'm somehow on my way. Oh my god. And then I'll put the phone down. I will. How far away am I?
You're in Crossing. You're like clear across town. There's no way that you're ever gonna make it in time for this, unless you call on something, you know, some part of your mythos that makes sense.
Let me have a look and come back to me. I might have a thing. I need to brain think a second. Hang on.
Okay.
I have to get out of being drunk to actually think. Hang on.
Okay, fair enough. So, Charlie.
So Charlie is dropping the kid off at the fire station. I hand him her a juice box of some Cheerios. So you be a good little child, and I zoom off.
All right.
I ring the doorbell too. I'm like, ding dong, drive off.
You run around, grab the kid off, hand her a juice box, make sure she's got her dolly,
and
run over
Cheerios.
to the under Cheerio, juice box in one hand, Cheerios in the other, doll under the arm. That she's a four, maybe 3 foot tall little kid, kind of looking at you, marveled. You kind of run up, knock on the door, run back around.
No, it's a ding dong ditch. It's not a knock. It's a ding dong.
Sorry,
ditch.
you put her on the doorstep. You hit the button, ding dong, and then run back to the car and take off as the door opens. And she goes, "There goes my mommy's car. My mommy's not in it though." And we cut back to Charlie. Kind of now you're about 400 feet behind. You were able to do this quick enough, but you're still far enough behind that it's an issue now.
Pedal to the metal.
All right. So in order for you to make up any room, you're going to need to either take a risk or change the game.
Let's take a risk.
What kind of a risk are you going to take here?
Fast risk.
Like, are you going to just basically ignore the risks of, kind of driving aggressively and potentially how it could affect other people?
No, I'm just going to drive like Baby Driver.
Oh, okay. All right. So in doing that, what power tags apply?
I'm sensing the finest details of the other cars. I'm in pursuit of a perfect short-range target. And I know these streets very well.
Okay.
And I have great agility. But I'm ignoring the danger of what could happen if I don't roll well.
Okay. Fair enough. Do it.
Wow. So you do it somehow.
Charlie, explain to us how you baby driver this and get much closer to that van as it's kind of...
Traffic our way kind of sucks, so I get in the other lane.
Okay.
And I swerve through oncoming traffic.
Okay.
And then, somehow I, get in front of the police car.
You get in front of the police car and continuing your pursuit. Now you're about 100 feet away from that van. You can clearly see where it's going or what it's doing. And we're going to cut... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to cut to Henry, who's just made it to the rooftop and over to the boulevard where he can now see about a half mile away the pursuit of a van, a Suburban, and a police car, and now there are 2 more police cars beginning to join behind that first police car.
Is it coming towards or away?
Heading away, so they're definitely going, you know, away from you at this point.
Quick question: what did Henry do with his burrito?
I dropped it immediately after you said Roz was kidnapped. He's already starting to feel his heart pumping. You know, he's rather angry. He notices this just shit show driving away from him.
Well done.
And he just concentrates on the earth and the plants around him, and he starts placing his hands forward, and he's going to burn obstacles, and he's going to make a giant briar wall that goes across the boulevard, just like not just lengthwise, you know. He's just going to burn it.
So let me get this. Let me get the, so I can understand exactly what's going on here.
I'm setting up a roadblock.
You're setting up a roadblock a half a mile in distance.
And I feel like that's why it's a burn. Because he senses, because he notices he probably couldn't catch up with it. It's half a mile away.
Sure.
You know, he would need to get enough momentum. He would need to slingshot himself, which he could overshoot himself and cause more damage than good. So he's going to try to exert his power and create a roadblock.
Okay, so you just said there's something interesting about this, right? At that distance, it seems like there would be an element of risk, and you're eliminating that risk, like the risk of it failing, by burning your power tags, or burning your power tag. You're burning that tag there, and so it would be essentially a change to the game, and you're going to get juice for that. That would be essentially three juice to be able to spend in that circumstance. Are you're going to do that?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I'm burning the tag still.
Yeah,
correct?
you're burning the tag, which means you're going to succeed at changing the game, and you're going to get three juice for this particular scene as you're kind of helping out. So why don't you? Okay, so you do this. The vines begin to kind of come out of the ground, create, and so you can, because you burn the tag, you can also treat this like a great success, which means you get the full set of choices, from what it means to actually execute that move. And just as a reminder, it's create a story tag, burn a power tag or a story tag, give or reduce a status, scale up the effect, whatever effect that you're trying to do, prolong the effect, hide the effect, or any other improvement that you already talk about. So based on your description, the first tag the first story thing that you're going to do is a story tag of a barrier that just kind of comes across.
It's like these giant arms almost come up. I'm picturing this boulevard. It might be on like a bridge or something, right? Or is it just so
it's a large boulevard. Think of it like a big city boulevard, like this downtown, either like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York. It's a wide street. It's probably a good 6 or 8 lanes across.
So just like he did in the first episode, where these vines created this almost giant hand and flipped the cart, these two giant vine hands just kind of come out from the sides, and they fall and they kind of interlock themselves right in front of this car. So that's one, to create it. Two, he's going to
so just to be clear about the description of this, though, it's just in front of this vehicle. It's not in front of any other vehicle.
Just in front of the vehicle that is ahead of the chase.
So ahead of the van that's escaping.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm well aware that this is going to cause a major traffic accident.
Okay.
So it creates the barrier. So I want to put the let's put a tier 2 status on the car. Engine knockout. Like the engines just they slam into this wall and the engine just dies. They aren't able to start it back up.
So the vehicle in front of the van.
As far as I am thinking it goes the van that has Roz, the police cruiser, and then Charlie.
Okay, no. So it's Charlie just executed a take a risk, pulled into the other side of traffic, kind of weaved her way through traffic, and got in front of the police vehicle. So what's going on right now is that traffic isn't too terribly bad right now on their side of the street. The van is about 100 feet in front of Charlie, who's in the Suburban. The police cruiser is kind of right on the Suburban's bumper, but that van is just kind of like got a sort of a clear space. And so what I'm imagining is that you've got this this barrier sort of coming up, and it's gonna the van is gonna smash into it, right? Smash into it, and that's gonna drop the engine essentially out of the van, and it's gonna prevent it from being able to move forward any farther.
Yes, that is the plan. Just I'm trying to just put a wall in front of the speeding vehicle.
Okay.
So.
All right. So what happens is, as that happens, the van kind of smashes into that wall, and you see it kind of just kind of lift halfway up off the ground, and then kind of drop. And as it drops, the engine kind of drops, and immediately 2 individuals just kind of jump out of the vehicle off to the side of the van. Charlie, you see this kind of happen in front of you, and you see those 2 individuals jump out of the van. The first one kind of holding his hand, kind of just, like it's broken or whatever, but has his gun in the other hand, and he kind of turns and he starts firing in your direction. And we'll deal with that in just a second. The second one clearly has Roz over his shoulder, and is starting to move. And the third one is coming out of the front of the van, or from the driver's seat, and also beginning to fire in your general direction. And so you've got gunfire coming directly at you as you're heading directly towards it. You can see what they're doing, and you can see that they're starting to fire. How do you want to do this? Do you want to face the danger in this situation? Do you want to take a risk? Do you want to go toe to toe potentially, and use the Suburban as a weapon? You've got plenty of options here. Do you want to ask the table for suggestions?
If you go in at an angle, you probably could use the Suburban as a weapon for the one
with the gun.
One guy with the gun. And if you hit it at an angle, you probably could spin out the other car.
That's true.
And knock it into another one.
I'm gonna handbrake, turn it into very gently.
Wait.
Gently.
A gentle handbrake turn. Okay.
Into the guy with the gun. Just like, and maybe hit him into the briar wall. So he's all like.
Okay, so there's 2 guys with a gun, right? There's one with a handgun and the broken hand. The guy that has Roz is kind of running around the
I want to take out the guy with the broken hand.
Okay, so he's there. There's also another guy with a machine gun, or basically an assault rifle, kind of firing towards you as well.
Where was he?
He came out of the driver's seat.
Okay, well, where is he? Like in relation to broken handgun guy?
He's on the other side of the vehicle. So one's on one side, coming out of the driver's side door. The other one is coming out of the other side.
Okay, here's what I'm doing. I am hitting the guy first. This is if it all works out.
Okay.
I'm hitting the guy first with the handgun and the broken hand, hitting him into the briar wall, and then hopefully I'm still turning to hit the van.
Okay.
And knock the other guy out.
So is this
I feel like this is a hit it with all I got.
The car is all you have, so yeah.
Well, so there is okay. So I agree with you that it's probably that. The here's the thing. If you choose that, um, if you choose that and you fail, or you don't choose the take cover or secure superior position, you're going to take damage some kind from a bullet. Okay, because the fire, there's two weapons kind of firing at you. That so you don't, all you have is essentially a bruise status 1 right now. So just,
Yeah, let's take some bullet holes. That's cool.
it's a good thing you got a healer or two in the party.
No, I can heal myself. I'm good at the meditation. I don't believe in modern medicine.
But they're not modern in their medicine.
No, I don't believe in modern medicine.
All right. Okay.
She's one of those anti-vaxxers.
God.
Okay. Sensing detail, short range target, outgoing agility.
Okay.
I'm ignoring dangers. That puts it at 2.
All right. Let's see how this goes.
I'm gonna die.
Gonna be fine. We have plans.
Wait, how many power tags did you use?
2.
You only used 2?
Well, that's what I thought I would only use because I was like, senses finds detail, perfect short range target, outgoing agility, and you ignored danger.
All right, whoever drew in on the table, thank you very much for doing that. That's definitely that made things a lot easier to explain.
No problem.
To be fair, the other picture on this table is not great, so this is a better.
Yeah, I blame all of you for that other picture on the table.
What the hell is this other picture?
All right, go ahead and.
Who drew that? Let me guess.
I have a hand in it.
I'm going down.
Okay, so Charlie, as you
I get a nice bullet.
so you begin to pull this sort of slide thing, and you pull the handbrake, and you pull it too fast, and you don't control the wheel just as much as you could, and
Okay.
bullets are coming flying by you, right? And they're coming through. One goes through the cab, another goes right past you, another goes through the door, shattering, kind of glass all over. As you're just continuing to slide through, as you kind of slide and turn around, and you hit the you hit the vehicle, the van, sort of with the back end of the Suburban, and it pops the airbag. As it kind of, but it hits you so hard, it kind of momentarily stuns you. So instead of taking a bullet wound, you take a status effect of stunned, and that is going to be a tier 2.
I'm just saying, clearly this mom did not get her car maintenance. I'm doing her a job. She's getting a new car after this one.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
No. She has the shitty insurance. It's like, we cover everything but some random vigilante running into your car and stealing it and getting it shot up.
Is vigilantism a real problem in this city? Let's ask the insurance agents.
Civil unrest. There we go.
There you
That's
go.
where it would fall under. It covers everything but civil unrest.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that?
Absolutely, there's something wrong with it.
There is, especially in a city with gang wars.
All right.
What gangs? I don't know what you're worried about.
Yeah. Everything's fine.
So you are momentarily stunned, and you're just kind of dealing with this. We're gonna cut back to Henry, or actually, we're gonna cut back to Sethana real quick. Does she have an idea?
I do.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how well you'll take it. So I opened up my book, like, what the hell am I gonna do? And I read one thing, and my brain went, yes, almost instantly as soon as you cut away. I have something called fight or flight. Can I just fly there?
Really, it ultimately comes down to what the intent with the power tag was?
Yeah, it was supposed to be enemies and or like most of the stuff that she does is for her allies or for her enemies.
Yes.
But since my friend is in quite a bit of danger and I have no other way of getting there to her, I think it would be, especially because she's kind of really wasted at this point, I think it would kind of be, she would see it as she is helping her friend by like sort of assisting herself. Like you can't save the world unless you help yourself. So she's seeing that at the moment. Otherwise, I'm good.
Well,
that's the only thing I have in here.
Okay.
That mixed with the fact that she's been given that kind of little pendant with wings on it. I think that maybe kind of wish
All
she
right.
gets the idea.
So let's table the argument about the power tag for a second, because I can kind of see your logic there, and I actually can see a little bit of the circumstance that makes sense for it to kind of come into play. There's an actual effect that I would expect it more to kind of be, but I see where you're going with this. Narratively, what would you do if we say yes for this particular power tag? Like, what narratively would Sethana do in this case?
I think in this case, if she was to like consider how she would get to Charlie really quickly, or to Roz, no, Charlie, because Charlie made the call, to get to Charlie really quickly, is that she would, because she's been experimenting the last like however many hours that she's been walking with, seeing through the mist, seeing through to a different side, and seeing the battles, that she would probably attempt to use that to get quicker to Charlie. So she would use that kind of passing through and appearing out the other side just like as quickly as she can to get to her. And the way that would look in her mind is that she would go onto the battlefield with a pair of wings, move across, and then pop back through the other side, because she's been experimenting with in and out with the mist at this point. That's, I think, how I would explain it. Does that make sense?
Yes. So is that take a risk? Is that okay? So there's a couple of things. There's a couple of questions I'm going to ask you about this in respect to moves.
Sure.
Is that take a risk? Is that stop holding back?
Oh.
Or is that?
I think yeah.
Is that
because
making?
up to this point she's been trying. One of the things that she has is that she's worried about what becoming a real Valkyrie is, like what that means for her. And that's why she keeps asking, what are we? Why am I this person? At the point she's at, holy crap, I've got no other options. So I think for her is like, this is where she sees like the worst of what she could be and the best of what she could be. It's terrifying. So yeah, I think not holding back would be a good one.
Okay. I am totally into this and willing to watch what happens. But now, if you guys want to check it out, it's on the second page of the player moves handout, or it's in the book in the back. It's on the second page of the player moves. This is one of those, extraordinary abilities, one of those things, and this is where a discussion has to happen about the scale of this. So what to clarify what Sethana is talking about, she is going to imagine herself into a battlefield as she's having these visions. She's going to be able to move as quickly as possible, and at the other side of the battlefield she's going to exit. And in exiting this, she will find herself somewhere very close to the vicinity of Charlie and Henry. This is an entirely new element of her ability and an entirely new step into her mythos. The question at the table right now is what is the scale? And there are three things. There are three choices in respect to scale, and we're going to have a quick discussion about that. And I'd like the input of the entire group, because each time that we've done this, it's ended up being something different, right? That each time that any of the crews have done this, it's been something different. The one time that Metamancer did it for Morrigan, it was significant because she was using a new ability, but there wasn't a tremendous element of risk to it, right? She transformed 3 individuals in her crew into a crow, an ability that she had that she could do herself, but she was able to extend it to them. The reason it was significant is because there was no real danger or sense of threat at that point. If there had, it could have probably been a no return scenario. Malcolm, on the other hand, was watching his crew be brutalized and manipulated by a succubus. When he did it, what he did was he exposed himself and went and grabbed the soul of the succubus, the shadow essentially, and pulled it away, a la Once Upon a Time and Peter Pan kind of a thing. That was an ultimate. He rolled, he was succeeded. Both times people have succeeded, and it has been great. Because there is an element of risk here in respect to both Charlie and Henry are in a situation that directly involves Roz, I think it's stronger than significant, but I don't think it's a life or death situation yet, like ultimate. So I think, to me, it sounds like no return as a scale. And the importance of that is the details of, what happens in that, whether she succeeds, fails, or what have you. So if everybody wants to, kind of chime in as to what they think in respect to how significant this is, how much, how strongly they think this is, I would love to hear, and then we'll make a decision, and then Seth and I can roll.
What is the exact number?
288.
288. Okay.
Or 289. Sorry.
289. Let's take a look. Okay, significant. Your character will probably burn all tags in a theme, which is temporary, and mark a fade or crack. At the very least, she will mark a fade or crack. That's pretty. That's kind of. I guess it's like a best case scenario, really. No return. Your character will probably replace a theme, which is permanent. At the very least, she will burn all tags in the theme and mark a fade or crack. Okay. So you lose one of your theme books and you get a new one?
Yes.
Okay. Or ultimate.
Which I will die. Or still have to replace the theme. So either
well,
so
and
like,
it's important to look at the failure as well. You look at the failure, in respect to each of those, right? Because the 7 or 9 still applies if you fail, and then there's some other element that happens as well.
Let's see. Your character will probably die or be transformed forever. At the very least, she will replace a theme. So you are going through. You're basically going through a rift in time, and then popping out and doing translocation.
Yes, essentially, I am pulling myself into the visions that I've seen. I am walking or running or flying, well, basically at this point, flying across the battlefield. And I'm coming back out the other side into what essentially is another battlefield, just near to the people I need to get to.
I feel like a no return scale is appropriate. Because significant would probably be like you using a legendary sword to make an impossible Deus Ex Machina hit. That would be a significant thing because you burn the relic.
I think no return in this situation or ultimate apply, because like from her story point of view, from her point of view, she is not going to be the same after this. I don't think significant is anywhere near enough, because this is a whole new level for her. This is like so beyond anything she could possibly imagine that she's just like, fuck it, I have to do this. There's no other choice. And popping out the other side, whether she lives or dies or whether they do the thing or not, it's going to completely change it. There is no going back after this. Like,
ultimate to me is like that anime move, that Deus Ex Machina. I'm going to summon the door to truth and take down this god kind of deal. That's what I feel like ultimate is.
I am not currently like turning up into a battlefield and deciding, hey, this person gets to live or die. This person here, I'm deciding right now, I'm taking to Valhalla. I'm not
Yeah.
making that decision. That for her would be like her ultimate anything. It was like, just, I've made your fate. I've decided who you are and what you are, and I'm taking you now. I
So,
don't think that's what she's doing. That's
I'm
not
gonna
the level that she's
I'm
at.
gonna agree and say No Return is probably the best fitting scale for what you're trying to do, because significant, like I said, it's like you're using the legendary sword, you're burning everything on that sword, and the sword goes inert. Ultimate is that big. It is the Hail Mary that either makes or breaks it, and then No Return. I feel like this is a No Return, because this
agree.
vision is changing your character, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think it really works well because, like, deciding someone's fate is literally the downtime equivalent montage that she has just dealt with. She has literally just gone through and like, who am I to decide this fate? It's in that same tag. It's in that same theme book. And I think that if it gets burnt, it's fine because she has questioned that. She has done that right now, and she's making that choice. So yeah, I think that fits. So if it gets burnt and gets destroyed and replaced, I think that's more than fitting.
Okay, so Sam also agrees. He's in chat. He's kind of watching. Wise and Fool. Charlie, do you have any thoughts on this at all?
It sounds confusing to me, to be honest, but
I feel like if you haven't done it, or if you haven't
yeah.
seen it done, it does sound confusing. So it's something that you want to do in practice. But just looking at the rule book, I feel like narratively speaking, the way that everything's flowing, No Return is a fair scale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as long as everybody's in agreement, then I think it's now time to have you roll. And so with the way that this roll works, right, this is also very different, right? You roll 2d6, essentially. So you're going to roll it, you're just going to roll 2d6 plus the number of theme books that you have that are logos, which I believe are 2 for Sathana. All right, so you're going to roll 2d6 plus 2. And the result will ultimately determine. And I'm sorry that we don't have the dice set up for everybody to kind of look at it at this point, but we'll have Sathana announce as soon as it happens. So,
I don't want to look.
Would you like me to announce it when it comes through?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm going to hit roll. I'm doing it.
Do it.
8.
All right. So No Return on a 7 to 9, you replace one theme book. So, Sathana, describe to us what it's like when you do this.
When she puts the phone down, like you mentioned before, that the booze just isn't hitting the right spot. And I think for her, she may feel that is a bit more fate pushing her that way. So she just closes her eyes and focuses and tries to pull back to that memory, that vision she had, all the visions that she keeps seeing. And she will find herself her heart just pulls her through into the other side. She sees all the fighting going on. And in her mind, she can sort of see where Charlie and Roz and where Henry are on this battlefield just as something else. And she just makes her way across there, like going faster than she's ever gone before, wings on her shoulders. She's just gliding across this, passing everyone fighting left or right, because she knows her job. She knows whose fate she's deciding right now. She knows who she's going to help. And she makes her way over to where she sees them. And as she kind of reaches them in the battlefield, she just pulls herself through back into the City of Mist itself. And she'll find herself just essentially standing next to Charlie, who may well probably see in her weird way that she sees things, just a couple of wings just folding back into her shoulders.
I'm
she
a little
seems to be a lot less drunk than she was.
You're not passed out, you're stunned, but you see Sathana, or you get the sense that Sathana just immediately appears next to you, as you're kind of stunned. And Sathana, as you kind of phase into this, you kind of find yourself back. You're standing next to the door of the Suburban where Charlie is, and it's clearly that she's stunned from the impact and the airbag. As you hear the fading footsteps behind the sort of the briar wall of the three individuals who are kind of moving, and you hear some muffled cries coming from that. And for Henry, looking at this from a distance, I imagine that you've done this and that you just continue to move forward a little bit.
I create the wall and I immediately just start slingshotting myself as quickly as I can towards that wall.
Okay, so as you're getting close, you're closing the distance about a half mile away at this point. And as you're closing the distance, you get to a quarter mile. You see Sethana appear just almost out of nowhere, right next to the car where Charlie is. All right, so Charlie, you're momentarily stunned. You're dealing with that. What are you doing?
I'm stunned. I'm like, if I can't move, I'm stunned.
Well, no, you have a status effect of stunned too. That doesn't mean that you can't take something. It's just, or you can't continue to do something. It's just your effect. Your right now you're going to have a diminished ability. Like it's going to affect you when you roll. That's my point.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna try to get out of the car then and take cover.
All right. Well, there's no more gunfire coming at you because
All right, then I'm going to get out of the car and jump over the van.
Okay, so you get out of the car and you bump into Sethana.
Where is she?
Ross?
Yeah.
The guy took her,
Point in the direction.
I'm just like taking a second because I'm disoriented from.
I'm gone. I'm going in the direction that she points. If I have to jump over cars, I will. Like slide over the bonnet. I'm not like her.
No, you hear that you see that the two sides of the from the van. You can only see actually one side at this point, but you can see that the person has just kind of crusted around. The last person has just kind of crusted around the side of the bramble wall, and you can hear footsteps fading in the distance, and you hear honking and screaming on the other side.
I'm probably going to be running after. Where in the direction that she pointed, I'm running after whomever it was that I may have seen, and I'm hoping as I come around the wall, I'll probably see like Roz over the shoulder or someone. I'm heading in that direction.
Okay, so as you get around the bramble wall, you see that that somebody is bundling something into a vehicle and getting into the back seat, as two individuals are jumping into the front seat of another car. And as they kind of see you kind of coming around and pursuing, one of them looks like he's got his right hand he's kind of messed up, and he's got he kind of leans out with his other hands and starts firing in your general direction with gunshots or from a handgun, but he's clearly not aiming very well because it's his offhand, and that vehicle is about 50 feet away. What do you want to do?
So my theme book, Decide Your Fate, which has my tides, my flight and fight, and impenetrable mind, they're all burned, right? I can't use those.
It specifically says you replace one theme book, not.
So fight or flight was what you were kind of invoking here, right? As a not holding back, and that's a part of that theme book.
Yes, that's part of the Decide the Fate theme book. Yeah.
Okay, and is that a logos or a mythos?
That's logos. No, that's mythos.
Okay, that's mythos. So ultimately, you have an option, I believe, based on the way the rules read, to replace. You replace one of your, any one of your choice at this point.
Yeah.
It's not specifically kind of specifies that.
Because it uses a theme instead of the theme.
Ooh, okay.
So the janky way is you could probably just replace a logos theme book and you gain more connection with your mythos.
When Malcolm did what Malcolm did was he used one of his logos when he stopped holding back, and then he replaced that specific theme book. So in this particular case, if we followed the same logic, you would replace that mythos, and either with another mythos or with a logos. I think I'm okay with tabling the discussion at this point and just saying that let's just treat those theme books those tags as burned right now, and thus allow you to do something else, and then we can talk about it off screen about what we should be doing next with that.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so if those tags are gone, what do you want to do now?
Oh man, there's some really useful stuff in that book.
Where's your empathetic link?
I have shared grief, yeah. I have that still. I can affect through walls. I assume cars are nothing to me at this point.
Do you have to physically be touching them to do shared grief?
No, because I can affect them through walls. I
Fuck
have
the
to be touching
driver.
them at all. Yeah. As I'm running towards them, the driver,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give them Roz's grief at this moment because I'm sharing it with her because she's in trouble and she is my friend of sorts, and I want him to feel that pain and that misery and that scaredness. I want to just throw everything at him like that. Just feel that like basically like he's bound and gagged like I assume she is. I want him to feel that. Just throw that at him as I'm running forward.
At the driver.
Yes. The dude, whoever's about to drive this car away, I want to like essentially just cripple them into the same way that Roz is feeling at the moment.
Okay, so is that going toe to toe because you're facing gunfire at the same time that this is happening, or is that hit him with all you got? Or, and then I'm going to specify this only because there's an opportunity of a number of different things happening based on this that change the game.
I think change the game because I'm not hitting them with everything I have. I'm hitting them with Roz. I'm hitting with her pain. So it's not what I have, it's what she has. So I don't think all I've got will count. I'm not toe-to-toe because he's not facing me down if he's driving this car now, if he's now in that seat, so we're not
right, but you are
game.
facing them down as a group because of the gunshots that are coming your direction, even though it may not necessarily be the same person that you're kind of like fighting, right?
Okay, then I'm good with toe-to-toe then.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay, so I'm going to use effects through walls, shared grief, conflict. I think at this point the weakness tag I'm probably going to invoke might be feeding her own fear of becoming a Valkyrie, even though she's just bounced through, but at the same point at the back of her head is like, what the hell have I just done?
Okay.
So I think I might put that as a weakness tag, so that'll be 2 in total.
That works.
Okay. Great success.
Nice. How did that actually play out? Okay, so it was... All right, excellent. So, you get... With going toe-to-toe, you get... you can choose 2 of those options. You can achieve your goal.
Can I use the same option twice?
Say what?
Sorry, can I use the same option twice? Like, if I want to give them like a level 2 tier. Level 2 status.
Okay, explain to me how you want to use it twice, and then we can decide if that makes sense or not.
Sorry, I've never clicked that button before, so I don't know what it does. Just reading through it.
No, okay, so right, you can manage to achieve your goal. Because you roll 10 plus, you get to choose 2 of these, right? You can achieve your goal, right? You can inflict the guilt on this particular person. Whether it affects them or not is something else entirely, right? Or how it affects them is not necessarily in the same way as a status, right? You can inflict the status on them, but it may not prevent them from, that will affect them in your next roll against them, kind of a thing, right? Or you can blog dodge or counter the situation, right? Like you can prevent them from firing at you, or you can prevent them from getting hit, by kind of rolling through, behind the car so that it can't get you, and at the same time executing one of those other elements. Really, kind of is a matter of what ultimately do you want to do here, right? In respect to what you want to achieve. I think what you're going for is to prevent him from continuing to drive. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes, that's the ultimate of what I want him to do, is to stop long enough for us to get to them, at least.
Okay. So you can go ahead and do that, right? You can achieve the goal of preventing him from driving as he's dealing with this guilt. So that's the first element, right?
Yep.
Or that's the first one that you're gonna get. What is the second one that you want to do? Do you want to inflict a status on the driver, or do you want to prevent yourself from taking damage?
Oh no, it's all on the driver. Could I give him a status of like scared? Like he's just gone through exactly what she's gone through. He doesn't understand where all of this weirdness is coming from, and for a moment it may just make him to the point of like, oh gosh, more like for himself than he is concentrating necessarily on his job. So I kind of want to give him like a scared status. I know
Okay.
it could backfire on us, but I think it makes sense.
Wait, so you want to give him a scared status that that he's afraid for his safety or his life? Is that what you're? Is that just to be clear?
I think yes. I think it fits with what I've just made him experience.
Okay.
And I think that fits. I have a feeling it's going to backfire on us, but I think it fits.
Well, okay. I just wanted to be clear, just so I know how that how that particular NPC is going to react next. Okay, so we're going to cut back to Henry, who is continuing to slingshot himself, and you're within a couple 100 feet above them at this point. How do you want to move into the situation?
I'm gonna land on the car.
Which car?
The car that they are in. I assume I see Sethana looking at a car, and he's going to immediately assume that.
Well, there's clearly gunfire coming from it too towards Sethana, so that would be an obvious like target for you, like an obvious like this is where you need to hone into.
As he comes down, he's going to create I'm going to call it the vine talons, where it just creates this wooden vine arm over his right arm, and it has the long razor sharp talons. He's getting very emotional, and he lands on the car, and kind of like a sardine can, he grabs the front where the windshield is, and he starts trying to peel back the roof of the car.
Okay, so you're moving incredibly quickly, and you're coming in, and then with these vines, you're kind of grabbing and pulling. All right.
Well, the armored arm,
right?
His own arm, he's grabbing, and he's trying to rip off the roof.
Okay, given that description, it seems to me there's one of two things that can happen here in respect to moves. It sounds like either take a risk, which is you making sure that you land correctly and then are able to do this, or it's changed the game. And then you'll spend your juice in in the circumstance of creating this particular narrative to happen. One is less complex, but there's a greater risk of you not succeeding, because it's either you succeed, but you succeed and there's a hard bargain, or or you can just have the ability to spend the juice. So which would you prefer to do?
You know what? I'm gonna risk it for a biscuit.
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna roll Briar Weapon, Ebb and Flow,
Okay.
Evasive Footwork, and I'm going to, because of the emotional state that he's in, this talent is serrated, like razor sharp kind of deal, which is a very winter thing for Henry to have at this moment. So he's going to invoke the seasonal atrophy on it, because it wouldn't be as strong or as serrated as it would be in winter.
Okay.
So rolling 3 tags with 1 weakness, and that draws attention to the expression theme.
Okay.
Correct?
Yep.
And we are going to take a risk and see where that gets us. Mild success. Things get messy. The MC will offer a hard bargain or an ugly choice.
All right. Let's see. Hard bargain or ugly choice. Okay, you can do this. It's the hard bargain. You can land, but as your claws coming in, you're having trouble kind of ripping, and it increases your frustration, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to take a temporary story tag, or sorry, a temporary status of, we'll call it frustrated. Just a temporary story tag of 1 frustrated, right? Because you're unable to do this. or you can land, and you're able to do this. But in doing this, the individual in the back with Roz is going to do something to hurt her.
Oh man. All right. I'm gonna roll a 1d2.
Go for it.
And odds, we're gonna take the ugly choice. Evens, we're gonna take the hard bargain.
Okay.
Okay, so odds, we're taking the ugly choice.
Okay, so as you kind of you rip in, you're swinging in, and you come down and you land, and you come down with a huge thud, right? And it just kind of echoes. And Sathana, you just kind of see this, and Charlie, you feel the impact of this, of the vibrations of everything, and it gives you a clear picture of Henry just kind of coming down and landing on top of this as you're regaining your composure and kind of moving towards and around the barrier. And Henry just kind of begins to rip, but as you're kind of ripping it back, and the two in the front, the one driver is like sort of cowering a little bit, as he's just kind of trying to come to grips with something, as the second one who's firing at Sathana just kind of goes, "What the hell?" And as you kind of rip back, you kind of rip the whole roof off the vehicle, and you kind of get back. There's a blade that comes out from the third person as it comes up to Roz's neck. And you can hear her just, kind of muffled through the noise of it, as she's just kind of, struggling. And the guy in the back kind of looks up at you and says, "You need to leave, or I'm going to kill her." And you can see the blade is kind of pressing into her chin just a little bit.
This causes Henry to stop. His eyes are strobe lighting. He's from emerald green to blood red. Emerald green to blood red, because he's now conflicted. He doesn't want to hurt this guy, but he has a knife to Roz's throat, and all he can think of is Tommy. He was unable to save Tommy. This is his chance. This is his vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when Henry goes with those sharp talons,
mm-hmm.
and he's going to shove it right into the heart of this guy with the knife and rip it out. He's going to go full. He's going to fully lose control. Eyes red. His stag antlers turn black and gnarled. His hair switches to like a salt and pepper. Look, he looks as if he would in winter. This is the mindset of Henry in winter. And he's going to yell, "Not again," as he rips into this guy's chest and rips out his heart.
Wow. Okay. This sounds like a Morgan moment. I'm totally digging this. Yeah, I think Sam in chat asks a really good question. What type of a move is this actually?
I
mean, I could see this being an argument for hit him with all you got. I could see this being an argument of going toe to toe.
Mm-hmm.
I could see this being a risk, taking a risk. This also could be something incredibly new for Henry, not necessarily just from a mythos standpoint, but from a psychological standpoint. And it could be a stop holding back.
I was about to say that sounds like a stop holding back.
2 stop holding backs in one episode. Oh, man. All right. Well, I can see it. I can definitely see it. I think at this moment, Henry has like an introspective, like, back and forth with himself. He's like, I don't want to kill him. I don't want to kill him. But there's that voice inside of his head. He's like, they have Roz. There's no way you can save this guy. He's going to kill Roz. You either kill him and save Roz, or you save him and Roz dies. He's like, I don't want to hurt them. First, do no harm. I don't want to hurt him. Stop being a weak bitch. Save her. You kill him. How many more do you save from his blade? And I think that is when he says, not again. That's when everything comes back in real time and he rips the guy's heart out. And yeah, we'll do a stop holding back.
Okay. That's a pretty fair explanation about all of that. So, with that in mind, let's ask the next question. What
role?
Hold
It
on.
would be oh, okay.
Hold on, because it's not just the roll, right? It's the the severity of it, right? It's the what do they call it? It's the scale. What is the scale here with the stop holding back? There's a fair bit of discussion here going on, right? It's let's outline the circumstance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Henry is executing something new. He's going to kill somebody by doing this. His friend Roz is at a risk, right? There's also the element that there are two other people in that vehicle who could potentially harm him or Roz at the same time.
I'm me personally, and we can open up to the table. Me personally thinks it's a no return. This has been a big battle within Henry, whether or not he should take a life or should he save one. If that is the case, and I have to replace a theme book, narratively speaking, it will probably be his training, getting rid of the pacifism, weakness, and the identity of first do no harm.
Okay.
Because he is accepting that to save someone, you probably will have to kill someone.
Okay.
Yeah,
save a life.
I agree.
Yeah, this is way more than significant. This isn't like, this is a significant choice for him. It's like, once he takes a life, there is no going back from that. That is like the minimum level of what
this is difference between Henry losing control in the winter, where he does not have a choice almost. Like this is like him out of season going and killing somebody.
Okay.
I have a question on that then, because is it like no return is like, is he choosing to kill this person? Like, I'm going to let this shit go and I'm going to kill him. Or is it he's being overtaken by the mythos? Because they're two very different mindsets. Because one means that actually you could come back from it. The other one means you can't.
He's giving
made
into
that
it
choice to do it.
because he's giving into it because he openly tries to not deal harm. I know over the past episodes, Henry has just been like grabbing people with vines and throwing them around and stuff, but he doesn't want to do any harm. He wants to save people. And he's been openly against this urge to use that power in a way to deal harm to somebody. And at this point, he's just going to give into it. He's like, there is no other choice in his mind right now. He's right here. If he doesn't do anything, Ross will die. Wow.
Okay. I'm really blown away by the circumstances of this. So, I mean, this is awesome, guys. So you've got 2 logos, correct?
I have 2 logos and I have 2 mythos.
You have 2 logos. Well, no, the logos is what's important in here, right? So you're rolling 2d6 plus your logos.
So 2d6 plus 2.
2d6 plus 2. Let's see what happens.
All
Good
right.
luck, man.
$10.
Wow. Okay, so on a 10, you mark Fade or Crack and burn all the power tags of that theme.
Okay.
And you succeed. Please describe to me what it's like when you reach in and grab this guy's heart. And what it looks like, what happens to him, and how everybody reacts around you.
The moment that his physical body changes. His hair, anybody you can see through the mist would see his stag antlers look not like healthy stag antlers, but more like gnarled tree limbs, blackened. And his eyes are just ruby red. And with just anger, he takes this arm that has serrated talons for fingers. All of a sudden, anything that wasn't a talon is just covered in thorns. The physical wood turns black. And with like a blood-curdling scream, he shoves it. And he uses his knowledge as a medical student to pierce the sternum just right, spread it, go in, grab the heart. As he does, he wraps his fingers around it, and he just yanks. Blood spewing forward and all in front of him, so possibly towards the guys in the front, just blood just splattering all over them, and then blood splattering all over Roz as well. He is doing this recklessly and out of rage.
Wow. Okay.
Well, not recklessly. He's doing this with a purpose to save Roz, but he's doing this out of rage. There's no finesse really in it, except for when he first pierces the sternum.
Okay. And so as you execute this, as you do this, the blade just sort of falls limply out of his hand, and Roz is kind of struggling there. But in this moment, as this sort of happens, right, you feel the full weight of the energy just kind of go in as you do this, right, and you mechanically speaking burn all those tags, but you feel weak for a second, right? You feel like a weakness kind of come over you, and then you feel invigorated again. And that's when you see the gun is starting to move towards you.
How close am I?
You are you continuing your pursuit moving forward as this is happening?
Yeah.
Okay, you watch this happen, and you see that Henry's just momentarily lost in the moment, but you see the gun, from the guy sitting in the passenger seat is, kind of turning around to head towards him. You're close enough to try to do something. I mean, you're not in immediate physical range, but you could, you might get there quickly or whatever and be able to do that. As Charlie is just rounding the corner from behind the briar, kind of moving in.
As I'm running towards them, I'm gonna... Fuck it, we're going all in, balls to the walls on this, fuck this. As I'm running in, I'm gonna, probably just for effect's sake, pull out my sword. I'm gonna aim it, point it towards the guy with the gun, and I'm gonna yell, if all of you don't want to die the same way, back the fuck off. And I'm going to basically just run towards them, and I'm just going to try and intimidate them to not either look at Henry or to actually just run, because they've just experienced watching him rip a dude's heart out, ripping like the total, like the lid of this freaking car off. The other guy has felt someone else's pain right there. Yeah, I just want them to run. I just want to intimidate them to get the fuck away from them, because I'm seeing a gun risen. I'm seeing blood spraying everywhere. I'm concerned that frickin' he's completely lost the plot, and I promised I wouldn't let him hurt anyone, and he's already done it. I'm seeing Roz in pain and worry. I just want to throw everything at them. I want them to run.
What type of a move is this really? Is this a convince?
Yes.
All right. Go for it.
Okay. Okay. Threatening monologue.
Absolutely.
That's gonna count. Rage. That's gonna count.
I love that that's a power tag.
I know. It's good, isn't it? Basically, I just have to say something. We're all good. Threatening monologue. Rage counts. Guilt will count negatively. Can't use anything from there. I think shared grief would probably be tagged in here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Trying to, yeah. There's no walls. I guess it doesn't count. um, conflict.
Okay.
Yep. So that's going to be
5 for 3. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the negative and these are the positives. So
Okay.
that's a 3.
Roll it. Okay, great success. Now, with that in mind, you can inflict the tier 3 status on them, or you can change their agenda for the short period of time. And from the way you described it, it sounds like you're changing the 2 that are left, their agenda.
I want to change the agenda from kidnapping Roz to leaving.
to protecting, to basically protecting themselves. Yeah, self-preservation. Okay. And so the gun's kind of coming around. He hears, the first one kind of hears you as you're you know, he kind of looks over as you're doing that, and he, as you say it, you see that the emotional, like, conflict on his face, going from pure survival, you know, pure, you know, anger and survival, you know, watching, you know, he kind of comes around and looks at you and immediately just kind of drops the gun and gets out of the vehicle, and the other one just kind of gets out of the vehicle and bolts. And Seth Anna, as they're kind of leaving, you get a first real good look at them. As Charlie got a look at them, they're both dressed exactly the same in gray suits, and you can't quite figure it out, but they kind of look, you know, like they're like the facially, you know, facial features are the same, but they both bolt in different directions. And so you kind of come in, you know, you come into this situation as they're kind of bolting, and Henry is just kind of coming back to himself and coming back to life. And Charlie, you're just kind of stepping up at the end of this, you know, kind of seeing this happen. And they're gone, and you hear sirens coming.
Where's Roz at this point?
She's bundled up in the back. She's blindfolded and gagged, and she does not appear to be moving at this point.
We need to leave.
Is she dead?
No, she's not dead. The sirens are coming, though.
Well, we need to get Roz and leave then.
We need to get out of the car. Henry, you back with us?
Henry
I'm gonna reach out and
is
touch him.
he's on the trunk of the car. He's fallen to his knees. His hair returns back to the dirty blonde. The wooden arm that covered his right arm just sheds and falls to the wayside, and he's just staring at his hands in pure fear, and he's unresponsive.
Charlie, you're weirdly strong and good.
Yeah,
Can you get Roz?
Yeah, and I would open the back seat door and just pick up Roz.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Henry. I'm just gonna take him by his hands, just cover them. I know they're covered in blood. I'm just gonna try and cover them the best I can and just pull him off and just literally, like, if I have to, like, child walk him out, I will, but I'm grabbing him and we're leaving.
Yeah.
I'm following Charlie.
Okay, so Charlie kind of moves in, grabs Roz, kind of throws her over the shoulder, and you see this 18-year-old girl kind of, you know, grabbing, you know, essentially, you know, a 25-year-old woman.
Hashtag legal.
Because that's so important.
It is.
It is in this moment.
Okay, and she sort of throws her over the shoulder and begins to kind of move as, you know, Sathana, as you kind of move in and grab for Henry. It's then that you realize there's a huge crowd kind of beginning to, you know, exclaim, you know, to make different sounds because they've been watching this kind of exchange happen.
Do I see that there are people everywhere?
Yes, you feel that there are people everywhere, but
I'm gonna take.
You come into this as a sense because you've been so, like, everybody has been so focused into.
I'm gonna take part of the shirt I'm wearing, and, like, rip it, and, like, put it over, like, the top half of my face so that no one can see me.
Okay.
I don't want to be exposed.
Okay.
So now I'm wearing a crop top. And
So there's a huge amount of activity around you, people. There's lots of witnesses at this point. How are you guys getting out of this scene? How are you leaving this situation?
I'm being drugged by Sathana.
Is there an alley very close to us?
Absolutely, but
I start pushing through the crowd to the alley. Like, if someone gets in my way, I will hit them out of the way.
okay. What about you, Sethana?
I think they're following me.
Yeah, I'm following right behind her. If anyone gets like close enough to try and grab us or ask a question, I will also just be like putting my hands in their face and pushing them away. I especially don't want them anywhere near Henry right now because I don't know about him.
I like how you would push their face away with your hands. There would be
Yeah.
all over their face.
Just like, no. She's having none of this shit.
Okay. And so you guys begin to run down the alleyway. You hear the sirens kind of pulling up in the distance, and you hear the crowd kind of, yelling and pointing in your direction. I need one more narrative element of how you guys are going to get out of this, because
probably slip into the closest building, go from building to building, go walk through buildings to get out of this.
Okay.
So, like, say there's an apartment building, I'd probably walk up a couple flights of stairs, get onto the fire escape, move to the next building.
Does Sethana follow you in this particular? I mean, because your escape is to go roof to roof at this point. Does Sethana basically follow this along?
Oh yeah, but I'm picking easy roofs to jump to.
Yeah, but you're also carrying a woman.
I'd throw her.
I might have a really stupid idea.
What's the really stupid idea?
I use shared grief, and I temporarily take Vinefellow's grief so that he can get us out.
Oh.
All right. So that's going to require a change of the game.
But so long as you're okay with this, dude, because I know it's a big thing, but at the same time, we need to get the fuck out.
That's such
It leaves her completely fucked, but I think in this moment we need to get out. And if it's okay with you, then I'll do it.
Go
If it's
for
not
it.
okay
Do
with
it.
you, then I won't.
Go for it. Go for it. Let's do it. Narratively
Okay.
speaking, it sounds fucking badass. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. In that case, shared grief. We are in conflict.
Okay.
Oh my god. Trouble is, I have so many more weaknesses that feed into this than anything else.
Yep. That's why I'm okay with it.
I'm ending up with 0 because she's feeding her fear right now, and she's taking an emotional scar, and it's coming out of guilt. She has more negatives than positives right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do with that?
What do we do is you add the positives, and you drop in the negatives as well, and you let the roll happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm at -1.
Yep. That's the way it works.
Okay. Good. I know it's really stupid to do that, but
No, it's actually, that's the way the mechanics of the game work. I think it's a phenomenal demonstration of the fact that your weaknesses are applied more than your power attacks at this point. I think it's great.
Yeah. Change the game, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's a total mess. Ah. Damn.
Okay, so
Plan B, we go my way.
can you narratively describe to me the steps that you take to try to do this?
So we've gone into a building temporarily, right? We just like
Yes.
run down the alley, we've gone into a building. And I think as she's seeing Charlie run off, she's like, hang on a minute. And she's going to, again, like cover his hands with hers so that he's not seeing the blood. And just like uses her hand to then like tip his chin up so he's looking at her. And she says like, we really need you right now. Let me take whatever is stopping you. I can share my pain and my grief. Let me take yours just long enough to get us out of here. And then she would try to see if she can just get to him, to see if she can just reach him on any level.
I like the idea that maybe my grief is too powerful.
I like it.
I like it.
I would
too.
totally be knocked on my ass.
Well, let's see what the GM says.
Well, so you basically, as you kind of move in to do this, you're looking him in the eyes and you're grabbing his hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea that it enhances the grief or makes the grief more intense, or even on top of the grief of just this situation right here, it adds like the grief adds from your past, because you were directly relating this to the situation where you felt guilty about the you know,
The death of Tommy.
right?
Yeah.
Your friend, you witnessing or you dealing with the death of your friend, right? Maybe what it does you feel the cost of what you just did in comparison to the cost, you know, however you want to describe it. I love the idea that it just completely overwhelms you with even more grief.
He is overwhelmed, but she would also see flashes of like young Harry placing his hands over this spouting bullet wound of this slender young man. He's crying. He's like, Tommy, I'm so sorry. I thought this would work. I'm really sorry. Please. And then it would flash into another vision of this guy. He's obviously a criminal, looking up directly into Henry's eyes, begging and pleading. I didn't do it. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to kill her. I didn't know the child was in the next room. And just seeing these vines tear him apart, flashing to another one of his winter kills where he's just ripping apart this other person who's begging, I'm so sorry. I repent. Please, mercy. And just flash after flash after flash. And a voice says, you deserve no mercy. And then Henry kind of just goes into a fetal position after this.
Okay, so from this, you're going to take a temporary status tag or temporary story tag of, let's say, guilt, right? Ultimate guilt or something like that. So it's not going to be something that's like a status in the effect that it's going to affect any rolls or anything. But you are definitely so affected by this, you just can't make a move or do anything right now. But it's going to be temporary for the rest of the scene and potentially for the rest of the episode, kind of a thing, right? The rest of the show.
Yeah.
So Seth Anna, you see him kind of move into the field position. Charlie, you hear pursuit coming, like you feel the vibrations and you hear the pursuit coming in your direction. Henry's down for the count. It's up to the two of you. You feel that Roz is actually passed out after everything that's happened. What are the two of you doing?
My original plan, I'm going into the first building I see.
Well, you're in that first building, right? And that's when Seth Anna kind of pulled you aside and said, "Stop for a second."
Can I hear an empty apartment? Can I hear? I'm assuming I'm in some sort of apartment building.
Yes.
Can I hear if there's an empty apartment? I will roll for it. I'm
trying to think of what's the appropriate role here, whether it's an investigate or a change the game. And I think change the game kind of makes more sense because it gives you a little bit more flexibility about what you actually find.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to change the game. I'm going to use filters out noise.
Okay.
Senses the finest details.
Okay.
But I guess my power tag weakness would be sensory overload if I'm like.
Do you think that really applies here? Because you can hear what's going on outside, but you're not in a situation where there's like a cacophony of things, cacophony of things that are going on.
Then I'll just roll with 2.
Okay.
And that's change the game.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that? Oh, there it is. I feel like that's a good. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so because it's a great success, you actually get the first power tag that you use actually counts as 2.
Okay.
And so you actually have 3 juice to spend here.
Find me and I want an apartment, an empty
so
apartment.
So there's going to be a story tag of abandoned apartment or empty apartment in the scene. So that's the first thing. It's up on the 2nd floor, let's say.
I'm gonna make my way up there.
Okay.
I'm going to open the door without causing suspicion.
Okay, so you're gonna hide the fact that you're in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 juice.
And then can I put a status tag of hidden on it? So we're just up there. And I plan to wait this bitch out, turn on some TV.
Okay, let's call it a story tag of hidden.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, and when I look for an apartment, I'm looking for one that looks like it has its mail, like it's been there for a few days, so the person's clearly on vacation.
Okay, great.
So we're not gonna get caught.
Great. All right, so this we're gonna kind of you bundle Roz up to that, and you kind of you bundle her up to that, and Sethana, you kind of see that she's kind of makes a move, and you're able to grab Henry and kind of move him up into this apartment as well. The door closes, and both of you are able to kind of make it seem like there's nobody in there, and we're gonna fade out in this scene as pursuit is happening all around you, but nobody ever comes to this door and knocks on it. And when they do, they realize, hear somebody say, "Oh, that person's on vacation. There's nobody in there," right? And clearly, as they check the lock, it's locked and everything. And so, you guys are able to evade pursuit. As a couple hours, we'll kind of fade out there, and then we'll fade in a couple hours later, as it's now dark. On the fourth, this is the fourth day, right? Did we say that? You fade into sunset on the fourth day, as we find, the three of you there. Roz has not woken up, though.
I'm gonna slap her.
She doesn't appear to be waking up. You remove the blindfold and the gag, and you remove the binds that were on, had her hands behind her back, but she's not responsive. You do, however, see that there is a thin piece of string that has been tied around her wrist that wasn't there before.
You mean feel? I don't see it. I feel it.
You feel it, right? But you would still see some, because it.
Can I try to take it off?
Sure, you can remove it.
Yeah.
Doesn't affect her.
No.
She's still asleep, or she's still passed out.
You say a thread.
Yeah.
Can I ask what color thread?
Do you want to investigate it?
I'll hand it to Sethana.
Go ahead and investigate it.
Oh, okay. I don't think, other than the fact that we're in a place, I'm probably doing the her thing of serving people booze. The only thing I think I could add right now is drinking hall. That's it. That's all I have. That's it. Everything else is not affecting this particular thing, so.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
That's, nope.
That's thread.
Yeah, as
Just a
you're
thread. I have a theory, but
you start to examine the thread, right? And you're kind of playing with it, but because of the way that Charlie just kind of pulled it off or removed it from her, the thread has started to unravel and kind of come apart, and it's just even in more pieces now, and it's just like
Put
these
it in
pieces.
a plastic baggie.
And so it just.
Save it for later.
Right. It just doesn't really work for you. You don't get anything from it at all.
I'm probably like too trembly to deal with this properly.
Mm.
Damn it! I just wanted to know what color it was. I'll just put it on like a, I don't know, fruit bowl or something. I'll just put it somewhere on the side and like, okay.
Okay, and so as as a couple hours have passed, Henry, your temporary status, your temporary story tag of guilt has kind of diminished a little bit, and you've sort of come out of this shell-shocked state enough to be able to to be coherent and be sort of Henry again, even though this has kind of happened to you.
You probably would have found that she would have like cleaned him up, like of all the blood, like literally just like changed everything on him if she needed to, like just head to toe, just completely change him so he's no longer covered in blood, and just completely like gotten rid of all the stuff that would remind him of that. She's just taking care of it, and she's probably not gone too far from him.
I love that we're living it. We're hiding out in a bachelor's apartment, so she's gotten him out of his like scrubs, and he's like in like flannel that is like 2 sizes too big for him, and he's like in like these jeans and stuff, and he's just
like skinny jeans with some rips on them.
Oh yeah, this guy is like total X scene. He holds on to everything. So he comes out of the bedroom and he looks at Roz, looks at Charlie, and he's like, what's wrong with her?
I have no idea. She seems to not be waking up. I
Okay.
slapped her.
Charlie, do you have a compact mirror?
Do you see a purse on me?
No.
I do.
So I put my hand out, and may I see it?
Sure.
I kneel next to Roz. The first thing I do is I check for a pulse.
She has a pulse.
I place the compact mirror underneath her nostrils to see if she's breathing.
There is a faint. There was breath there, but it was very faint. Like it's
Oh.
not as
Really
strong as you'd
robot.
expect. Yeah.
Please don't do this right now.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay, so it's a faint breath. Yep.
It's a faint breath. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a faint breath.
That's
I'm
interesting.
going. Well,
Sorry.
it's because like I heard faint, and I was like, okay, so it's a faint breath. So I am going to. So the pulse, was it a faint pulse or was it a normal pulse?
It was definitely less. It was definitely less strong. Like she's definitely experiencing issues of some kind.
I'm going to. I look to Sethana. Sethana, does this was the inhabitant of this domicile? Do they use T-shirt bags for trash or anything? Just like something you get at Wally World or Sloppy Lobby.
Okay, you've literally mentioned 3 phrases that I, Valonda, do not understand because I'm not American.
Okay, so a T-shirt bag is. Do you go to Walmart or any kind of thing?
Yeah.
A T-shirt bag is your basic plastic bag.
Okay. Could have said that. Sure. Moving on.
Okay. Sorry, I just know them from working in retail a lot. They're T-shirt bags. So he's gonna ask for that. Does he have any plastic bags around?
I want to say yes.
No,
Damn
he
it, he's
doesn't.
not one of those okay, he's a no plastic person.
Does he have any?
Nope.
Does he have any Ziploc baggies? Okay.
Yes.
So I guess you would find the Ziploc baggies, and I would be like, those are fine. I take the Ziploc bag and I place it over my hand as I open up her mouth and start like examining to make sure there's no swelling. If she was poisoned, is it swelling the tongue kind of deal?
I need you to do an investigate roll at this point for all the things that you're attempting to do. So
that's what he's going to do.
Okay.
He's going to use medical student as one of his power tags.
Okay.
He's going to use his favorite student because his favorite teacher taught him how to do these basic on the fly, check to see if somebody's drunk or, make sure they didn't throw up in their mouth and they're choking on it kind of deal. I do want to add a weakness, but it's not on my tag, but I want to use it off of the story tag. Can I invoke the story tag as a weakness? I want to still invoke the weakness shaken because he's still not over what he did. It's it's out of his shell shock, but his hands are still shaking.
Okay.
But he's trying to do this to save Roz.
Okay.
Let's see what I get. I throw a mild success.
Okay, so with 1 power, you can ask me. In this particular case, I think it's okay for you to be asking me either ask me a very vague question or a very specific question, and I will ignore the fuzzy or incomplete part or the
Okay. Does she look like she's been drugged? Is she showing any signs that she has been drugged?
No. So it doesn't look like that she has been given anything to inhibit her ability to wake up, whether it's pharmaceutical or otherwise.
This must be a physical thing. All right, we're probably still dealing with heat from our excursion. Are we good to wait here for a couple hours?
I'm not sure we got any other choice.
I think we
Okay.
have to wait until, cops aren't completely looking around.
Henry slips off his torque and places it on Roz's wrist, and he kind of just sits there and he clasps over it, and he imbues his will into the torque, which causes it to glow that faint, warm, welcoming jade green as it begins to try to regenerate anything that would be damaged or inhibiting her ability, anything physical kind of deal that would be causing her not to wake up. It's going to take time though, because it's just regeneration. It's not an instant heal.
Are we doing a change the game here though? I mean,
Yeah,
this
is change the game. He's going to invoke medical student, magical healing, and regen. But he's also going to take that weakness of shaken.
Okay.
Mild success.
So with a mild success, let's see, you had 2 power attacks, so you get 2 juice to spend in this particular situation, and it's the top 3, right?
What status does she have?
You cannot tell that at all.
Oh, not even if I wanted to remove 1 tier from it?
Nope.
Okay.
So I will, instead of allowing you to remove a status tag, I will give you a fair bit more information based if it's like a clue, you could spin it like a clue and ask me another general question, and I will give you an answer based on that, so you can get a better diagnosis out of this situation.
Could I spend the clue and ask something very just on point, saying what is her status?
She does not have a status.
Okay, she doesn't have a status. All right.
So it's a story tag, in fact.
Okay.
But I will even give you a little bit more than that, and I will say that you were based on the fact that you're spending a juice for this, it is not a medical ailment that Henry is aware of. In fact, it's not a Henry, it's not a physical thing that he could be solved through medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no diagnosis that you could do as a medical student that could convey a healing to her. But you do know that her condition is deteriorating, and if you spend the second juice on imbuing your relic,
Mm-hmm.
you can stabilize her by allowing her to wear it.
And that's what he's going to do. He's
Okay.
going to give up his relic so she can have it.
Okay, so while you'll still be able to spend the physical elements or the power tags of your relic, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to basically, in context of the situation, right? You're going to be able to continue to use those, contextually, like in a move situation. The physical relic is going to be imbued, and you're going to put it on her, and she's going to stabilize based on that. She's not going to get any worse, but she is still passed out at this point.
Yep.
Okay, so that's your 2 juice. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Roz is currently, unconscious but stabilized. What do you guys want to do now?
We are still, this took hours, kind of, right?
So we've sort of faded out for the immediate heat, of the scene to kind of come off of you guys, and now you're faded in, and there's still, you can still hear siren, or you can still hear the conversation down the block as the investigation is going on.
What I'm saying is Henry healing her took a while, right?
Yeah, that would also take a little bit of time to stabilize
I'm
her.
gonna heal myself as well. Or I'm gonna meditate to recover, gain some recovery.
Okay, so in this particular case, that would kind of flow down to a montage of some kind, like a recover from your last activity in a montage. So that's you doing your meditation.
But it's a.
Or you want to change the game in this situation?
Well, yeah, I want to heal myself right now in this situation, so that if something else happens, I'm healed.
What? Okay, so what I was suggesting.
Also one of my tags.
Okay, what I was going to suggest from this is, by using a montage, you don't have to actually roll for it, and you can recover. You can reduce the status. So in this particular case, so recover from your last activity as a montage for downtime. For each ongoing status that's still affecting you, the MC will tell you if and how you can reduce your your downtime activity and reduce how many tiers it's going to reduce that status.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, who knows when we're gonna get our next montage?
We could use it right now because we have to stay here for a while.
That's true.
Right. So what I'm saying is that in this particular scene, because a couple of hours have already passed, what Charlie has done as a part of that as meditated. And instead of you having to roll to see if you get the juice to reduce, you just reduce that status.
Okay. I just don't know how I'm gonna use that in the future then.
What do you mean?
Because it's a power tag of mine, a recovery meditation. So the whole point of it is for me to roll to recover. And in the future, I don't know how to use that if I'm just gonna do montage.
Oh, battle healing.
Right, it would be battle healing. Like you would be healing yourself in the moment versus it.
I don't see that tagged that way though.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's just something we'll have to talk about.
Well, you're more than welcome to make the roll. If you wanted to change the game right now, I'm happy to take the roll. I'm just saying that there's an element of risk.
We'll just do the montage.
Okay. All right. All right. So you're going to remove that status from you. You're going to heal and remove that status from you in that time period.
Okay. Cool.
It's like a short rest, Trindane, versus a long rest.
No, because it's like a, think about it like how Iron Fist sits down and meditates. It's not quick. It's like an actual meditation.
You could think of it as how Geralt of Rivia meditates in battle, because he is a battle monk. So.
Okay, so we'll talk about it afterwards. We'll just have the montage happen right now, and you'll just heal that status. But we'll definitely talk about this afterwards because we've got a couple things that we need to talk about in respect to characters after the session.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Charlie's kind of healed up. Henry has kind of woken up from his status or his situation and stabilized Roz. What is Sathana doing here?
Drinking.
Yeah. That genuinely is what she's doing right now. I would love it thematically if there was mead here, because that really fits with drinking hall. But that's just me wanting mead here.
I mean, we're like in a hipster's apartment. So
yeah,
this guy goes to Renaissance festivals and buys cases and cases of mead.
In that case, he would have mead that comes from the honey of bees who only pollinate lavender. That's exactly the kind of mead.
That's like exactly on the label too. Mead from bees that only pollinate lavender.
It's lavender honey. So yeah, I would love that to be the booze, because that fits with Valkyrie serving great warriors mead. Except she's not serving it; she's drinking it unless they ask for it.
I'm going to say that yes, you can find mead here.
Yes, in that case, I will be drinking. I may pour them like a drink each, but that's probably the extent of the serving part of which she'll do.
Okay.
No, I honestly think at the moment she's so blown away by everything that's just happened. The whole jumping through weird places to suddenly turn up there, to seeing Vinefellow turn into a fucking god and rip a dude's heart out, and then seeing all the guilt that he has over things that he's done in his past. I think drinking is the correct response for her right now, because she can't bring herself to talk about it right now. She is keeping an eye on all three of them and making sure they don't get into any more trouble, and if they need something, she'll help them, but she's not ready to do the talking part of what she needs to do yet.
Okay. All right, so the three of you are in this apartment just kind of, biding your time, hanging out. Are you going to end the night in the apartment, or is there something else that you want to do after this? Because the heat has really died down on you. You've had some ability to kind of heal, or take some time to reflect, or do whatever you needed to do. What happens next, guys?
Honestly, I think we need to drop Roz back off at her apartment, somewhere that's safe for her. But I don't know.
I'm not sure that her apartment is safe for her.
So
I mean, they grabbed
who
her.
wants to have a new guest at their house?
I look at them. I say, I'll take it. I have herbs and other supplies at my apartment that I could use to keep her comfortable while we figure out what is wrong with her.
New housemate, yay!
Do you want some conscious company? Honestly, I'm kind of worried about you too. After what I saw.
He kind of like sniffs a little bit. It's fine. It's nothing I haven't dealt with before. I just need some time to cool off.
Are you sure you want to do that with her around? I'm not saying I don't trust you, but you kind of lost it big time.
Yes,
Take
all
her.
who would like to accompany me back to my apartment, you are all welcome. If you would like to check up on her, I will leave a key in a hideaway box, and you are welcome to freely come and go as you please.
Sounds good. And I pick Roz up and I put her over my shoulder.
So we go back to Henry's apartment. I feel like Henry would say, let's not use the stairs or the hallways, and he would open up the window and he'd kind of like gesture out the window and over to the building to the other side. He wouldn't say anything, and then he'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to the other building and then go down to street level from there."
Sounds good to me. And Charlie would make her way down with Roz on her shoulder.
Henry would try to call Vines from the other building to just kind of latch on and make some kind of like little bridge. It's just like a pole, really, that anybody with balance could probably walk on, trapeze or whatever, or slide down kind of deal.
Okay.
To get to the other end, and then they would just take a fire escape down to the stairwell, and No, we don't call Apollo. I feel like we hail a taxi.
Nah.
We hail a
ta-
city paid for taxi.
With an
Public
unconscious woman. Are you
She drank too
insane?
much.
She drank too much.
Oh
Yeah,
wait,
she's-
yeah, hang on. I pull out my flask. I pour some booze on her.
Yes.
I put the flask back in my pocket.
Wait. Is this the good booze or the bad booze?
Oh, this is the shit booze. They are not wasting good booze on this.
Okay, fair enough. You're able to hail a taxi. You kind of stuff her in the back and explain the situation. The cab driver just kind of ignores it. And you find yourself 30 minutes later back at Henry's place in the blue collar district. And
He lives at the top of this apartment.
Oh, good. So
Everybody would be able to tell it was Henry's apartment because he has this terrace, like patio, like this big terrace patio, and it's just overgrowth. Like you could see trees, big bushes, a lot of flora. There is no cement kind of like top to this thing. It's all green.
Oh my god. You're a
Looks like a
medical
jungle.
student and your apartment is better than mine.
You can thank my dad.
Oh right, yeah.
Um,
I think you've earned a fan there, Henry.
I'm like, this guy. So when they enter Henry's apartment, it's very minimum. Like, he has a couch, he has a coffee table, he has a TV. He looks over in the kitchen, toaster, everything you would normally see. His bed, just very basic bed. He doesn't even sleep in his bed most of the time.
Vine hammock.
Out
I
in
had
the
the same-
garden.
I had the same idea.
So he
You guys are
gestures Charlie to place Roz on the couch.
I'd take it. Harry, straight to your bed and just lay her down. She deserves better, man.
Well, yes, I was going to move her there later.
No, it's good now. Just-
And this his bedroom is like in this room that is up in the corner of this giant apartment with like those railless, supportless steps kind of deal. They just look like metal things coming out of the wall. And he's like, I'm gonna go out in the garden and see if I can find some herbs and whatnot. Help yourself to whatever's in the fridge. Also, the apples are in bloom. If you would like to go grab a basket or something, just be very careful. The trees tend to fight back.
I would put Rods down on the bed, and then I'd go to his kitchen and look if he had Lucky Charms.
He does have Lucky Charms.
Make yourself a bowl.
No, so here's the real question, though. Is Henry a whole milk, a 2%, a 1%, or a non-fat kind of guy?
Oh, he's
He
an
is-
almond milk.
Coconut milk.
He is a lactade.
Oh god. She just
He-
eat them. No, she just eat them. Just out of a bowl.
He-
No milk.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail. I just had to ask.
Although when he said the trees fight back, I thought of Wizard of Oz, where the trees would throw apples at you.
Well, all of his garden is a subset, I would like to think, of his expression theme book. Like, he's used his powers to grow these at a quite exponential rate. So these apples are in season and they might be out of season. You know, everything, like the cherry blossoms are in bloom kind of deal, but it's not spring, you know? So that's the kind of setting you get when you walk out into this garden. You feel like everything here is very much alive, and anybody who is paranoid would probably think that they're being watched out in this garden.
I literally have paranoid tag.
So
I'm not messing with those trees. I'm just eating my Lucky Charms.
I have a liquid breakfast. I'm good.
he goes out onto his terrace and he starts gathering just various herbs. He reaches out his hand. He doesn't pick these herbs. He reaches out his hands, and it's like the plant rises up out of the garden and kind of gives him what he needs. You know, like helping hands kind of deal. And he's gathering all these herbs, and then he brings it inside and he goes into the kitchen, and where your mixing bowl would be, he has a giant mortar and pestle, and he picks that and places that on the island, and he starts mashing these herbs together, and he starts creating just a lot of herbal medicine that he's going to administer to Roz to see if any of those will have an effect on her condition.
Okay, so this is either another change the game or potentially a montage of some kind.
I'd be cool to use my downtime for a montage for this.
Okay.
This is I feel like, could it be bringing attention to his mythos, because he's used his mythos to create this prosperous garden, this like this bountiful garden that has everything kind of what he needs, kind of deal.
Okay.
This is his utility belt, is this garden.
All right. So as you're doing this, and as you're committing this essentially, it's not necessarily a ritual, but just an extension of your mythos in a lot of ways. So it's just almost a natural sort of extension of who you are and what you're doing as you're kind of preparing this. You're going to mark attention to that particular mythos.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to you're going to get a question. You're going to get a clue that you can spend to ask a question or answer. So what do you want? What do you want here? What question do you want to ask and get an answer for?
Why are my vines always there to help me when I fall? And it could be a physical fall. It could be his fall into this hern, if you will. This just him falling to prey to his dark passenger kind of deal. Why is his roots? Why is his ability to manipulate nature there to catch him when he falls?
And so this question sort of just kind of coalesces as you're committing this ritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're kind of as you're in this act, you're following through this extension of who you are and what's going on, and as this question kind of forms in your mind, and as you're kind of exploring this, as you're doing this, the word that you just said, the word that you just used as one of the four sort of vague elements of this question, right? Root comes to mind, right? And as you focus on this, and this word sort of sticks with you. It begins to grow with you, and it's not just the word; it's imagery. It's the ground, the root structure, the exposed structure of a tree, right? As it's kind of growing up, you see that there's these, most trees have these root structures that kind of expose themselves above ground, but they just kind of extend below ground and kind of extend out underground, and they go much farther than the footprint of the tree above ground, right? And this vision just kind of continues, and you come to the realization that the vines aren't there to catch you. They aren't there to stop your fall. It's the foundation for who you are and for what it is that you do, and they're not so much there to prevent you from doing something, or to to prevent your failure or your ability to to kind of catch yourself. They're there to support you. You're never actually going to fall, right? You're never actually going to find yourself in a situation where they're not going to be there for you, because they're not there to catch you. They are supporting you. They are propping you. They are pushing you forward. And so this changes your perspective on what's going on. They aren't there just coming out of the blue. They're always there. The vines, the roots, the root ball network, these extensions of you are always there. They always come in and are there to support you at that moment. They are your foundation. They are your base. And this invigorates you, and this gives you this idea that you can do more with your strength and your abilities and your mythos. That they are not necessarily separate from you, but they come from your core, and they are an extension of you that supports everything that you do. And this empowers you to believe that uh, these vines aren't separate. They're just the absolute extension of you. When your armor comes out, when your claws come out, right? All of that. It gives you this vision of extending yourself. They are just from you. Those vines come from you. Those roots come from you. They aren't separate. They don't come from other plants, as you are one with nature, and nature is one with you. And as you're just kind of finishing this up, and you're finishing this element of this this concoction that you're trying to use to help Roz, you realize that the ritual, the extension, the effort of this is just as much there to help you, as an extension of you, as it is to support and help and try to do something more for Roz.
All right. Sweet.
And so you get the attention. You get the attention, and then you get this knowledge. And I would suggest using that next time that you do something with the vines that's significant, because it changes it from just them coming from someplace else. Maybe the vines come directly from you that time, or it's almost like a Swamp Thing sort of a thing in respect to like his dark power, is he just kind of extends his abilities to do things. So.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, as you administer this concoction to Roz, there are things that happen to her physically, right? Because she's passed out, her breath has been faint, she's been pale. It invigorates her a little bit, and her breath grows stronger, and her pulse grows stronger, and the color returns to her cheeks, as if they're possibly rosy. And it energizes her physically, but she still doesn't wake up. The sleep is still, or the effect of being unconscious is still there, but she looks incredibly healthy and invigorated from it. But it just hasn't shaken her, the shackles of this unconsciousness, this effect, this sleep.
All right. Well, that's one combination down. I have numerous more, Rosalind. Fear not. You're in moderately safe hands, he says as he looks down at his hands, still trembling. He walks out of his suspended room and walks down the stairs. Right. Well, I have booze that my father has sent over, Sathana.
I'm already drinking it.
Ah, yes. If you go down to the hallway, there is a towel closet. At the very bottom, there's wine rack. Very good. I've grown the grapes myself, as it were. And I look at Charlie. Do you require anything?
No, I'm just gonna eat my Fruit Loop. No, my Lucky Charms.
Don't you want any milk? I have milk.
No, I'm good. They're way more sugary this way.
Do you not like Lactaid?
She just takes another handful and scoops it in her mouth, just like the awkward silence.
And I Henry just kind of like jumps. And he's like, "Oh, I'll go get you some milk." And he like grabs the keys, opens up the door, and leaves, closing the door behind him as he runs down to the 7-Eleven to get what he thinks Charlie would drink.
Just a nice whole glass of milk.
So let me ask a question. You guys, on the evening of the fourth night, you went to Henry's apartment. You got Roz settled. The act of you exploring your mythos, Henry, probably took a couple of hours. Is that happening on the morning of the fifth day after you guys rest, or is that happening still in the evening of the fourth night? Just out of curiosity.
Well, it's up to the table. morning of the 5th day would probably be nice, and then we could. Henry would return with the milk, and then he would offer to the group to use his apartment as some sort of safe house.
I like that idea very much.
For the moment, you're not exactly off the radar. You're not as on the radar as my place.
Oh, they wouldn't be able to find this place. It's in my father's name.
Then, perfect. If you don't mind, I know we're kind of gate crashing you, and I know you wanted your space, but you have things going on. You shouldn't be on your own either.
No, it'll be fine. I'm gonna take a trip to IKEA, and I will get you guys a couple of beds that we could probably just set up.
Okay, hear me out. If we don't want to stay here, which I'm totally fine with, my family has a second apartment with 7 bedrooms, 4 bath, 2 half bath, a kitchen, comes with a butler. I'm just saying, like, that's an option, but we don't have to do that.
Oh, of course. I just would rather be able to have access to my garden.
Oh, I agree. Your garden is beautiful.
Your garden is a little creepy, but yeah.
They would look at he looks out to his garden, and he's like, it's only those crabapple trees. And all of a sudden this tree, its limbs reach down and pick a crabapple off of itself, like kind of like throws it up in the air like a baseball, and hurls it down towards the street. Yeah.
The pun is there. It's there.
Do
I'm
it.
not doing it.
Do it.
No.
Charlie's just like, that's not weird at all.
Nope. It's not
Yeah.
odd at all.
Jeremy kind of gets crabby sometimes.
Thank you.
Oh, they have
Thank
names.
you.
Oh, good. Yay.
Thank you.
Yes, the cherry blossom there, her name is Charisse. And the cannabis there, his name is Jerome.
Awesome. So, what are we going to do? I mean, we have Roz, but we don't know who took her or why or what they did to her. We've got the whole weird thing with M6 and Chow and
Who
freaking...
did Roz want to go see before she was taken?
Do we know that she was going to see someone?
I'm pretty sure she told us about an appointment that she had.
Okay. When you were administering your stuff to her, did you notice if she had any things on her, like a date book or her phone?
No. I could let you go check.
Sure. I'll go up and see if she had her phone on a diary or even a camera or anything.
Henry kind of looks at Charlie. Are you hungry? Assuming that this is like a couple hours after the Lucky Charms debacle.
I could be hungry, but I'll just have more Lucky Charms.
Henry's like, oh, well, I just picked all of this banana squash, and I got some pasta, and I can make us some kind of dish with it. Yeah, no, since we got some time, I might as well just go ahead and cook, and he'll just take the time to cook.
So, two things. One, I want to make a clarification because I just screwed up and I said something earlier that will confuse the hell out of people, especially Miclokin and Metamancer. This is the night of the third. This is the third night, not the fourth night, and it would be the fourth day. Just to be clear, because I just asked you guys earlier about the timing of what Henry did. The second thing is, Sathana, as you go and explore through Roz's belongings, you find a notebook where she indicated that she was going to have a meeting specifically with Mr. Apollo of Apollo, the Apollo car service, which she had told you guys about, but it just, because of everything that's gone on and the car chase and everything, it was that's a gentle reminder. You don't see much in her notes as to anything else that happened as a part of that. You do see that she recorded the conversation with a recorder, and she does have her camera with her as well.
Okay.
And she's also got her phone, and you see that she's got a text from somebody named Calvin.
Oh, I first of all, I will listen to the recording. I'll take it down for everyone to listen to whilst Henry's cooking dinner or breakfast or lunch, whatever, whatever it is he's making for us. I'll play the recording so we'll hear everything that she heard when we did that scene.
Okay, so
and then I'll check the message.
So the recording of the conversation doesn't appear to go very well in respect to the questions. She immediately launches into a very direct, "This is what I know about the situation," and Mr. Apollo continues to deny or just essentially turn it on to her that she's making accusations that she can't back up. And basically what she was prepositioning him with was the fact that on the night of Alexis's disappearance, of all the sisters' disappearance, Alexis took a vehicle, or an Apollo vehicle, or was picked up by an Apollo vehicle a couple of blocks from the library, and that she had been given information that Mr. Apollo had hidden it after that, so that it wouldn't appear in the system. And he was in complete denial, and two, just kind of stonewalling her about the situation, that he wasn't concerned about her, the fact that she was going to report this.
On her phone, before I check her message, would it be linked up to things like her email accounts?
Absolutely. But actually, it's password protected. But you do see the text from Cal on the front of it, on the lock screen.
I'm gonna ask what would be a really stupid thing. Is it password protected, pin protected, or is it one of these funky ones like my phone where you put your fingerprint in it?
All of the above? Or sorry, two of the three, right? There's a pin and there's fingerprint.
Oh, in that case, I put the phone against her finger so I can unlock everything.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
So, having access to her emails, do I have that article that she said she was working on that exposed everything to everyone? Because that would have things like links to her sources and all that good jazz, right?
No, her phone doesn't have everything. She did have a laptop that she was carrying with her at one point.
But I'm assuming that's not on her now.
It's not on her now. She does have an email into an article to somebody named what was his name? Not Marty. It was Artie. At excuse me. It was at Pendragon, the online news magazine that she worked for, and a copy of the article basically documenting everything that she knew that you guys are aware of in respect to the investigation. In an article that was submitted to Artie earlier that day.
Okay. No, Seth Anna would check. I wouldn't because I'm a good friend, but Seth Anna's more concerned, so she'll check the message from Cal. I'm so sorry.
It says from Roz, why is Julia Sable on? Why are you on Julia Sable's list? Response from Calvin. Her what? What list? Another follow-up would say, wait, are you dealing with her? That woman is dangerous. Stay away from her at all costs.
So the stay away from that woman at all costs comes from Cal?
Yes.
Okay. I note his number and put it in my phone.
All right.
I show the others the text messages. I know a bit about Raz, but I don't know everything. I mean, kind of passing friends. I mean, we're friends, but you know what I mean. I don't tell her everything.
Yeah.
Do either of you know who this cow person is?
She
No,
never mentioned him.
must be one of her many gentlemen callers.
What's
He
his
may
number?
well- What's his number? Can I give you the number? I mean, he may well be a fuck buddy of hers. I don't really know, but this message is about Sables. So clearly, she knows him enough, or he knows enough about it.
Well,
Well, maybe we should give him a text, see if what he knows about Roz.
what's Sable's first name?
Julia. That's what I've got written down here.
I'm going
Or was it
to.
Julius? Sorry.
Julia.
Thank God. Okay.
I'm going to pull out my phone, go into contacts, and I'm going to hover over Dad. I'm going to call my father
Why?
because I feel like he might know someone or something that is connected to Julia Sables. I'm just
Huh.
going to go out on a limb.
As you're holding you're anticipating, you know, the call and all, the weight of the call and everything that's going on. Roz's phone gets a text.
I'll check it out.
It's from Juggy.
From
Sable,
Juggy.
Sable contacted me. Meet me at the
Oh.
junkyard tonight, and I'll give you the details. And that's where we're
means-
going to end it.
Oh my God.
No.
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm just
I
as
wanted
I'm
to
start
talk
texting
to
Cal. I'm
Jackie.
still.
You can text
Yeah.
Cal, and I'm still curious to see if Henry makes the phone call after that.
I guess we'll find out next week.
I guess we'll find out next week.
She might.
He might. I'm actually kind of curious. One of the things why I wanted to kind of pause on that is because I want to talk to you a little bit more about the relationship with your father and find out so that we can play that, you know, as you know, you would kind of expect it to based on your background. So I'm really kind of curious to see how that plays out. It would be very cool.
Estranged. If I had to really put it all in one word, very estranged.
Okay. Right
Product
on.
of separation. you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, right on. All right, guys. Well, that was an excellent episode. A little weird because of the day and the time, but it actually played out pretty well. And I think you guys had a 2-hour car pursuit, which started with Charlie being a badass and ended with Henry killing somebody. So there's a bunch of badass moments for all three of you, and right in the middle of that was Sathana's stop holding back and traversing half of the city in a matter of moments because she explored her mythos. That was pretty fucking amazing. I'm just gonna say that right now. So why don't we go around? We'll do outros. I'll do a couple bits of business, and then we're gonna go raid Metamancer because she has started a new Warhammer 40K show. I think it is. I think it's called Dark Heresy or something like that.
Dark Heresy's good.
Oh man,
I think
we would have differing opinions on that.
I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on it, but we're gonna go raid her anyway. So why don't we go ahead and start with we'll start with Alex this time.
Hi, I'm Alex, also known as Zippy Zippo here on Twitch. We do a bunch of variety stream. Right now, we're delving into the new kind of like thing that is Pix Arc, which is just Minecraft Arc. It's really fun. I love it. Anyways, I really enjoyed tonight's game. A lot of character development. At the beginning, we didn't know what to do, and then it just kind of all ironed out the way it should have.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to the phone call. But I think Henry did some amazing and crazy things tonight, and that was pretty freaking awesome. All right. Next up, why don't we go with Sam?
Hi, I'm Sam. Tonight's episode was awesome. I really liked the car chase sequence. Really liked that I got to fight someone finally, like a proper fight. That was great, because like that's what Charlie's all about, is like just fighting. And fighting and saving people, that's like her thing. And yeah. My links were posted in the chat, so
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that were able to give Charlie her awesome fight sequence. I mean, previously she's knocked stuff out of people's hands.
yeah, I'm just a gun knocker right now.
Well, this time you took on 4 people at once. You took down 2 guys immediately, and then you knocked a gun out of somebody else's hands, broke their knuckles, and then you kind of whacked the other guy just as a side effect of that attack. And it was brilliant. And then the car chase sequence was kind of interesting until you jumped into a car and basically carjacked it, and next thing you know, Charlie is basically playing GTA 5.
I did not kidnap a child. This was absolutely never happened.
Oh, it was brilliant.
They just was taking, I'm their nanny. I was taking them to daycare.
The daycare at the fire station, right?
Fire station?
It was fire
Actually, to be
station.
fair,
It was
that would
fire
be an
station.
amazing daycare.
Yeah, fire station.
Oh, yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
up for that.
Absolutely.
At 11 o'clock at night.
No, it was like
It was like 5.
it was like 5.
No matter. It's all good.
It was parent pickup time.
Or no, maybe it was 7. I think it was 7. But either way, it was awesome.
Parent pickup time. It's fine.
All right. Well, I'm glad we were able to finally give you something really, intense action to kind of get into. All right, and last but not least, Valonda.
Hey, I'm Valonda. You can find me on Twitter at @blood_BTP. That was intense. That was fun. That was... First of all, it started off just utterly ridiculous with your car chase scene. I laughed so hard. It was so good. And it was just amazing and so cinematic and very comic book. I was like, I love every moment of that. Then we had like the very cool thing where Stefana actually got to be a Valkyrie. It was awesome. It was cool. And then we got to see a bit more from Henry about the things that he's done and where all this not killing a thing comes from. And then the fact, yeah, he's killed a thing. She has questions. She has so many questions about that. I'm looking forward to exploring that with him. This is cool. Yeah, that was great. I love the episode. That was totally worth staying up until like 2, 3, almost 3 in the morning. This is good. I love it. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny. That was awesome.
Excellent. Thank you guys again. Amazing. I'm gonna do a quick bits of business, and then we're gonna go raid Metamancer. All right. First up, 6 and 20 is this crazy, or 620 Metropolis is this crazy thing that we do across 3 channels, right? We do it here on Tuesday nights typically, although today is Friday. Wednesday nights over on Unmade Gaming, and then Thursday nights over on NotSoSpeedRun. It's basically 3 crews, occupying the same city, trying to investigate the same set of circumstances, and finding radically different ways to deal with things. You can find the links for Unmade Gaming and for NotSoSpeedRuns in chat. Currently, we are right now doing a giveaway, and there is the link I promised you at the beginning of the stream because things are actually working now for me in chat. We are doing a giveaway of the Core Rulebook. It is this big 500-page amazing thing. It's a beautiful book. It's got comic book art in it. It is just this you'll find yourself kind of looking at the art sometimes more than reading the rules, and you'll just kind of get lost in inspiration. It is a great book. We are giving it away next week, so you can click on that link and enter. And I believe if you retweet every day, it adds another entry into it for you. So go ahead and go wild with that. If you do not win, and I hope you do win, whoever you are, but if you do not win, we are actually doing a deal with Son of Oak as well, where we're doing a giveaway, or not a giveaway, but we're doing a discount. Using the text 6 and 20 fan. I believe this is the command. Is that the command? That's not the command. I will find the command in just a second. Anyways, so you go to Son of Oak at cityofmist.co.uk or cityofmist.co. You pick up the core book. You add the coupon code 6 and 20 fan, and you can get $5 off the actual book. Now, if you go to Son of Oak, it's the only place that you can get the core book and the PDF of the core book as a bundled deal. You can't go anywhere else for it, so it's a great deal. Last but not least, we've got a YouTube channel now that we are releasing unique content or new content specifically for that. We're running a show called Beyond the Mist. The first episode just got posted to YouTube, I believe, on Monday, and I believe Alex, as we were talking about at the beginning of the program, he's going to be recording with McLoken, who is the host, and a couple members from the other two casts, an episode tomorrow, and that, I believe, will get uploaded as well. And I believe I've got this command set up correctly, which does not look like it's working, but I will fix that right now. But you can go there, subscribe, and then catch up on, there we go, on the show itself. And so with all of that, we're going to get out of here. We're going to go raid Metamancer. So I'm going to drop the raid command in chat just so you guys can post what you want to post, or post that, the raid command, and then we're going to just do this /raid thing, and we're going to get out of here. So guys, I just want to say again, thank you very much. Had a great game tonight. You guys did amazing. And I had a lot of fun. So with that, we're going to say goodbye, everybody, and let's go say hello to Metamancer. Bye-bye, guys.